Used to be.
He had a bunch
of
people
fucking guy.
When Cuban was like all the fucking rage.
Yeah.
Not that he's gone out of fucking style, but it's out. It's on him.
This one here. It should be
Down there originally, so...
Oh, you must have been stepping on some dicks.
I tried to go in and make nice. All right, you're done. Get out of here and go back to Newark.
They apprenticed you and didn't keep you, just bounced you.
Oh, get out. Took my money and go back to Newark, you fucking hood
If
rat.
you don't mind me asking, what'd you pay for your apprenticeship?
Too much.
It was that much?
$5,000.
Too much.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You
Like
and
how
possibly
we've
jail
not,
time.
and again, I'm not putting ideas in anybody's head, really, but like...
Wink, wink.
No, not for nothing, but like, why aren't parents freaking the fuck out? Dude, Cubans once or twice just to try him.
Sure.
I never really cared for those much, especially for what he gets for him.
Oh, I see.
So I do have it if you want to. If you want to
take
take
it
it,
with
check it out.
Sure.
And if it can work.
He's just going to take me like, dunk.
Yeah, exactly.
There, I fixed it. You no longer have that problem no more. It's in the
no longer a
garbage.
problem. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Not For Nothing. Remember to stay to the end. Like and subscribe. Do all that fun shit. Try to help spread the channel. Again, apologize for the long hiatus. Like I said in the last episode, things have been weird. Things are hopefully getting better. Fingers crossed. But in the meantime, this is the first official brand new guest. So I'm here with Jimmy again, but I'm going to have you introduce yourself and tell people who you are, where you work, stuff like that. We're going to go into that.
All right. Yeah. My name's Jay Jersey, down in Toms River, New Jersey. And,
As opposed to Jersey J, which there is another Jersey J.
there's a bunch of Jersey Jays. I found that out, maybe 4 years ago when we first opened, 5 years ago when we opened a shop. And I'm not from down there originally, so...
Oh, you must have been stepping on some dicks.
I tried to go in and make nice. And
Well, you said Jersey, so instantly you already know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Jersey's Jersey, dude. This is
Jersey.
motherfuckers.
Yeah. And I tried. I tried to be nice, but, I went all the way back in the woods, stayed as far away from everybody else as I could.
Well, whereabouts where in Jersey are you?
We're down in South Toms River, so right off the Parkway, right off exit 80. There's nothing. After our road, woods.
Now, what made you, where are you from originally?
I was born in Rahway, but I'm basically a military brat, so everywhere. And but 70% of my time in and around New York City, so Jersey's home.
Right.
But went down there, I met my wife in Long Island after I was working at Cliffs.
Okay.
Oh, she's from Long Island, huh?
Oh yeah, she's way out in
What
Long
part?
Island.
Well, instantly you've already won Joe over,
Yeah.
No, well, I mean, Long Island's a thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Long Island seems to be the only thing. You want to know where the fucking world is created? It was in Long Island.
Well,
Ask anybody from Long Island.
The worst part is, everybody compares Long Island to Jersey, and...
No, the fact that anyone says anything about Long Island, and if it's not a praise where they fucking bow down to you, it's like you guys just lose your shit.
That's because you motherfuckers don't know nothing out here.
The Big Bang of the world actually started in Long Island. You know that, right?
Yeah. Right there in there.
Yeah, before the Bible was actually printed, it was written in Long Island, and they sent it out there to the fucking Holy Land. Yeah.
So when did you work at Cliffs?
I was there from March of 2018 to Labor Day of 2018.
Oh, so it was only a short period of time.
Yeah.
What made you...
That's where you started, right?
I don't know if you want... Yeah, that's where I got my... I apprenticed there,
Yeah.
That's
You
I
apprenticed at
was there
Cliffs.
for 1 year.
You were there with Paul. You were there with a bunch of people, right?
Well, so when I worked there, it was Civ. Sean Vasquez did a couple of guest spots in my early days of my my apprenticeship. Paul Booth, I met him there. But the main focals was Civ. Tom Butler came there. He was there for about 6 months. That's where I met Tom. He brought Joe Olson there. He brought in Dylan Schreifels, who apprenticed under Joe. And there was Bobby, whose last name I can't remember. But he was there when we first started there. Jimmy Dillon.
Okay.
Excuse me, not Jimmy Dillon. Jimmy Karanick.
Okay.
He worked there. He didn't get his start there. He was working someplace else first, I believe. But we became the core group eventually over at Lotus for a time too. and then it was just a different. Like I said, I lasted a year working for Cliff. In 2018, was he a regular staple at the shop at that point?
I was very tight with Cliff.
Yeah.
I like Cliff. Cliff's a good dude. You know,
He's a
Cliff's
better person.
very, yeah. You know, it's
a different time too. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sure he's
Most certainly, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm talking back in 90 when I apprenticed there was 93. So it was like Cliff was, you know, swinging dick, fucking that guy. Like I couldn't.
Yeah,
I just couldn't.
I get it. Yeah, no, Cliff's a love him or hate him guy, and I personally I love
that's
the guy.
about as much to say about everyone in the industry now. You know, it's like.
So what brought you to Long Island then to start working there?
That crazy story, but I was on a train and saw that he was looking for somebody, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go to Cliff's." And
Where were you at the time?
I was down in Florida on my way back to Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
I was just running around like a madman from
Really?
all of
Where in
2017. I was Eustis, where Jimbo was, my old apprentice James Bogue. Long story there too, but I used to go to Panama City
Oh,
for
shit,
spring
okay.
break, make
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
it was good times. And the year I got there was the year that they stopped letting the kids drink on the beach that year, so shot. So I got in a car with a buddy. I was like, I'll pay for gas to Tampa, you know?
And you just didn't stop.
Pretty much. And then on the ride, Jimmy calls me. He's like, hey, man, I know you're going to stop by. Come a little early. I said, sure. And wound up there. I love Florida, but
I don't think you could say anything bad about Florida to
No.
him.
Okay, cool. So that was...
Born and raised in Detroit. My
okay.
address is Florida.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So that was the year we had those 4 nor'easters up here. My flight got canceled and canceled and canceled and canceled. By the fourth one, I said, fuck it, take me to the train. I got to get out of here. So on the train and just kind of doing the laptop thing.
Shit. Yeah, because it's funny too. Because when you say train, Long Island is a pain in the dick.
Oh, my.
Because it's not like you can. The train doesn't stop in Long Island.
Oh
You
wait,
have to jump on.
Joe
a train
finally
to
said
get
something
to
mean
Long
about
Island.
Long Island. Can we make sure that we get that and
Again,
use this
dude,
part
having
as
a-
like a
having a
highlight
train
reel
that
to
is-
come in?
having
Because
a
I
train
think
that
Joe just
doesn't
became like
stop
outed
off is not a
in
bad
Long
thing.
Island.
Yeah,
Like he's
no.
never allowed there again. You know, he said a bad thing.
But I mean, at that and Cliff did have a good reputation on the island as far as like a good busy shop. You know
It
what I mean?
was... That summer was incredible, 2018. It was... Man, and I had no tie downs. I was there 7 days a week. When I first got there, we started at 10. I'm like, 10 o'clock? I never even set up a machine before 11, you know? He was like, you'll see. Best clients are before 10. I was like, okay. He was right. And 10 o'clock to 1, 2, 3 in the morning, within 2 weeks, they were like, you going to stay? I said, I'll stay. And, man, it was just, what a summer. Just...
Well, where did you cut your teeth at? Like, where did you get your start?
I worked in a crap shop, if you could call it an apprenticeship, in the city in St. Mark's, and then, all right, you're done, get out of here, and go back to
They
Newark.
apprenticed you and didn't keep you, just bounced you.
Oh, get out. Took my money and go back to Newark, you fucking
What
hood
if you
rat.
don't mind me asking, what'd you pay for your apprenticeship?
Too much.
It was that much.
$5
Too
grand.
much.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Whoa.
So this is why I've often said to people, like, you know, never pay for an apprenticeship. And it's the same thing with the schools. Because for me, when you take on an apprentice, especially if you're taking fucking money, your responsibility is now to make sure that motherfucker's got a job. Because that's part of the deal. And the same thing with a lot of these schools. Yeah. And a lot of tattooers that are established, they'll straight up tell you, if you came from a fucking school, keep walking. Yep. We ain't hiring school kids.
Well, there's a difference of those two. When you have an apprenticeship, you know, it's like you're trying to bring someone in that you feel is going to be beneficial to the craft. As opposed to a school, it's like you're only beneficial to my pockets. You know, like they don't really give a shit.
Well,
you know, I'm not saying that. I'm going to say like majority of that statement applies all the way across the board. I'm not saying that people actually don't care.
Well, that's the thing.
We
can't, and this is something that we probably should say to be polite and to be honest. But realistically, we can't say that firsthand because we've never been to half of these schools. Most of these, we don't know whether or not they are making arrangements. From what I understand, Alex DePasse runs is involved with in Italy, I think it's in northern Italy. They run an academy, but the academy is part of the art school. So if you were to go into School of Visual Arts, it'd be the same thing as if School of Visual Arts had a tattoo section, a course. So you can take that course. And with that course, there are certain things that you also have to take. From what I understand, I've never been. I've only spoken to Alex about it. I've spoken to Gabe about it. Their big thing is they're creating artists. You know what I mean? And that's something that, as a traditional tattooer, I'm not going to say you're not an artist, but you have your own, you know, you have your lane. With this, they're teaching them everything. So if you're going to learn, that's a great way to learn. My thinking is, though, that most of the schools in the States and worldwide are not like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's a rare occasion.
They just got a bullshit pyramid scheme speech where they just tell you, like, hey, this is, my way is gospel this way. And as soon as you learn that the pointy needle goes down, they're like, all right, get the fuck out. Your check cleared. I don't care.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like when you're releasing somebody in there and they literally give you this piece of paper that says, you're a tattooer.
You attended this school.
Exactly.
Good for you.
And, dude, I've heard stories about people bringing it to shops.
I have
and people
a story
just
of
like,
that.
Well, then sure.
But how?
Well, if you like,
Because
yeah.
because the
I
thing is,
won't name
as
names,
an
but-
apprentice, you can tell people, like, where'd you apprentice? And you go to say, I apprentice here. And those guys might be, oh, fuck that guy. Or they might look at it and go, really? You made it through that?
Yeah,
good for you.
Yeah.
But, so, yeah, if you don't mind.
An older gal, nothing against that, but me personally, I'm always skeptical of people who come in later, like way later, especially post 2015. If you're coming in your 40s or 50s with no art background, I'm always like, literally had a diploma. So I attended this tattoo school in Linden, and I'm like, oh yeah, what'd you pay for that? $20,000 for 3 months. $20,000 for 3 months. Left with a little diploma and a couple sets of ferry build your kits or whatever. And I just was like, no.
Yeah, there's no good way for it. She came to you for a job? Or
At
she
a
came
different
to
shop when I was working there first in Jersey, and I really didn't know what to say. I was just like, yeah, okay, and I kind of just walked away.
Well, does she have like a portfolio? Does she come in with any kind of thing that
little
showed you anything?
Instagram, but nothing.
See, God damn it, motherfuckers!
Yeah.
If you're an artist, like anything, like show your body of work, like anything could be fucking on a phone. I mean, even more so now with AI and all this other fucking shit. Or even back then, it's like, at most we had people. I mean, we've encountered this before. It was like where people would steal portfolios or stuff like that. Like back then, because you had to print your own film. So like, we got those old photograph things, so you put photographs in there. And I remember those days where sometimes like people were like, oh, fucking somebody stole my portfolio off the counter or this or that. And then, somebody would, show up in a different state thinking that, the community, the community's bigger now, but back then it was really small. Yeah. And, we actually had a guy back in Detroit show up in our shop looking for a job once. And the counter girl was like, hey, we got a guy out here looking for a job. Why don't you guys come look at his portfolio? And she goes, I really think you want to take a look at it. And the way she said it, I thought she meant like,
he's good.
There's good. And I go, oh, yeah. She goes, yeah, there's some pretty interesting stuff in there. And I was like, cool. I go running up there. So me and Jeff were up there. Tom didn't come up because he was still tattooing, So we're like looking. And, Jeff's kind of talking to him, asking. I'm flipping. I'm like, why does this shit look familiar? I'm like this. And then like the next page, it was like a completely different style. And I was like, well, either this guy is so fucking super versatile, he's bullshitting about something. And I flip the page again. I go, huh? I go, well, those two photos are really cool. And he's like, yeah. And I go, yeah. Where'd you do those at? And he's like, oh, back at this other shop like that, I was on the road. And I was like, that's awesome, man, because those are fucking mine. And he's like, huh? I go, yeah. You didn't think to fucking look up the name of the guy's shit you stole?
Wow.
And it was fucking taken at a convention where they were pulling photographs out of portfolios.
That's something that was a thing back in the day.
And so yeah,
really?
they would swipe photos out of your portfolio and fuck off, or like somebody would steal it and go over to someone else like, hey, can you do this or reproduce this, Wow. And he had 2 photos of my artwork in there, and I go, you didn't fucking look at the name of the shop you just fucking walked into? And he was like, and,
dude,
and then Jeff just slams his hand on. He goes, you can either walk out right now, or you don't get to walk out. And so he was like, if you just fuck off right out the door.
If you honestly think anybody's going to steal photos is going to take the time to figure out what shop he's going
Dude, I didn't know, but, like, you thought maybe someone would have fucking considered to, like, where you were stealing photos from, like, who you stole it from, and, like, maybe not go to these other people's shops. And that's when we looked at it, it made sense. But the guy, I think he had, like, he had some photos from, like, Kevin Star Eye. He had, but it was, like, a bunch of different stuff. And then there was, a bunch of like really good black and gray where like when you looked at it, you're like, fuck, if this guy's doing this shit, he's fucking really good.
Yeah.
But then he had like drawing, like we used to have like we would draw on vellum and in color pencils and stuff like that was in there. And his drawings didn't match Andy's
yeah.
fucking tattoo style.
Of course, yeah.
And then when I started looking how weird it was, and I came across, I was like, oh, this motherfucker is one of the guys that steals shit. Yeah.
I had no idea they'd actually just jacked photos out of portfolio.
Back in the day,
back in the day,
I mean, I remember I did the first New York convention at Roseland.
What a
back
show.
in '97. I can never remember what year, but I did
It's
that
97
show.
or
I
8.
did the first 2 years of it. The first year I did it with Civ, just him and I. And the second year I worked Friday, and then Civ worked with Scotty on Saturday and Sunday. And first year I forgot who it was. It was a big name artist though. And somebody swiped his entire fucking portfolio right off the table. And the fucking, got Steve Bonge going up there being like, okay, you return the portfolio that was taken off of such and such desks. We won't come. We promise you'll walk out of here on your own 2 feet.
Yeah, bullshit.
I mean, the guy's probably shitting his pants.
Yeah. I mean, if you got the balls to fucking swipe a portfolio off,
especially from somebody with a name.
Yeah.
Although back then, you had names, but I don't think regular people, understood that.
No.
There was a difference between a regular tattooer and a big name.
I mean, back then also, like, the word style of tattooing just started kind of really developing, So I don't really think people gave a shit. They tried to do it anyway, just to see if they can pull it off, Like, if you got the balls enough to do it, they just figured, fuck it, it'll get their foot in the door,
Well, but I mean, right now, you look at what's happening with Instagram and everything else. People don't come to a particular artist for a particular style now. They just come with their phone and say, hey, can you do this? And 9 times out of 10, most artists are going to say, yeah, sit down. Because, I mean, nobody wants to give up the work. I mean,
AI stuff now is crazier.
We do everything. We do everything. Oh, dude, I mean, a handful of the tattoos, that's how different things are. It's like, a handful of the tattoos that I've done in the past couple of months have been AI generated. Someone will bring me, and it's like on the arm already, and it's like, oh, it's silly shit.
Well, there you got to convince the people that it's not an actual real tattoo.
Yes.
They're like, no, I'm looking at it. Like, I just had this lady send me this photo. She sent me this photo, and she's like, hey, I want this. And I go, that's not doable. And she's like, yeah. She's like, I want it done like this. I go, this isn't an actual tattoo. This is an AI photo. She's like, no, look at it. It's on the body. I go, let me explain something to you real quick.
You know what AI is?
I go,
Yeah, right.
I go, do you see how this person's leg is? How it's like circular all the way down? And I go, in this photo that you think is a tattoo over top of it, I go, look at the wings on the end of it. Do you see how they don't wrap around the leg? I go, how they still stick out past the background? I go, that's AI. I'm like, it's not fucking on the skin. And she's like, oh,
but even
I didn't notice that.
But even having said that, I mean, like I said, I had a guy bring me a couple of different versions of what he wanted. They were AI generated, but they wrapped. I mean, they looked like when I redid stuff, I had when I say redid, like I did use the lettering, which almost burned my ass. This is actually a pretty funny story. I did use the lettering because the lettering was actually very nice. But there was like a skull and crossbones and everything else. And everything else I drew my own style, my own way of doing it, whatever. But I did use the lettering. But there were 2 different versions of the tattoo. And it had lettering on the top, lettering on the bottom. So I'm like, oh, I'm good with that lettering. I don't have to redraw it. That's fine. Perfect.
Lazy.
Huh? Damn straight up lazy. I mean, dude, we've had conversations.
No, I get it. Yeah.
We're talking so hard.
That's
like
why I
I
use
take
cartridges
both
sometimes.
things, and this is why I'm convinced that AI has been put on the earth to do nothing but fuck with the humankind, the human race. It's not just artists, but it's fucking humanity in general.
I feel the world right now is if that movie Idiocracy fucked the movie Wall-E and they had a baby. That's what we are.
Yeah.
Like, we become so like fattened out to where it's just like we just need to push a button and not even use our feet no more. So you're like,
but
dude.
Here's the problem. So this guy brings these both these things to me. I take the lettering from one. I take what I thought, never thinking to check the fucking spelling because it was made by a fucking computer.
Computers don't lie.
Yeah, exactly. They're not supposed to lie, but they fuck with you. They fuck with you. So sure as shit, I fucking get the thing on there, draw it up. He looks at it, fucking slamming. Oh, that's perfect, no problem. His friend's with him. She looks at it, it's fucking perfect, no problem. Put the fucking stencil on him. We start tattooing. Every time I do tattoos, whenever I do lettering, I always start at this end and work my way in because it's just the way my hands are and stuff. Sure. This one time, because it was in an arc, I started in the middle. And I worked my way out to the outside. I got
Dude, have you not ever learned that when you do a fucking nautical star, you don't do that?
No, you don't. What do you mean?
You start and you go around.
No. I get
you don't
that. You don't
fucking go here and then go here because
no,
by
I know
that
that. Well,
that's
my point. I started here and I worked my way this way. So I get 3 letters in, and I'm looking. I'm like, man, that don't look right. And I'm like, and as soon as I said it didn't look right, I'm like, motherfucker, it's missing an L. And then I looked at both pieces of reference that are sitting on the thing next to me. One is proper, one is spelled properly, the other one is not. And the one is not is the one that I used the lettering from. I'm like, holy shit. Thank God it was a simple fucking thing. I fixed it real quick. Done.
Yeah.
My wife, the second she walked in, saw the stencil sitting next to the thing, and she looked at it. And she went, "You could." I think I could feel the chill come off of me. And I looked at her. I go, "You see it?" And she's like, "You didn't." And I'm like, "Really?" And then she looked at it. And she goes, "Oh, thank God." But this fucking so fuck AI.
Yeah.
Because we're all dead. Like we're all dead. It's just a matter of fucking time. The only thing we got in our favor so far is. No little computer is gonna start doing big ass tattoos just yet, you know. Yeah. You know what? Right now, you got guys like Bang Bang fucking tooting his own horn with the micro bullshit tattoo crap. And why anybody is shocked that well, we're really all over the place. I'm sorry.
But forget
why
about you. We're
anybody
going to talk
is
more about
shocked
him right now
because someone like him has done this to his own industry.
Yeah.
Like, what did you do? Take one of your artists and say, "Hey, man, you drew the short straw today. You got to sit with the computer and watch it and make tattoos while your friends are in the other room doing real tattoos." You know what I mean? It's like, is that how it's going to go? By the way, that's a good idea if anybody is looking for. But so how difficult would you say your apprentice was? It difficult or was it just a shitty apprentice?
It was slavery. That's all it was.
It was
slavery. I got to do some oranges. I got to do 2 friends. That's it. It was slavery.
Now, would you say
how long was your apprenticeship?
18 months.
18 months. So it's not like
it's a proper apprenticeship.
Oh yeah, no, it was. I mean, 3 of them months were taken out because of 9/11. So that I was down there a little bit. So, but not long after I got back. I'm sure you guys remember it. That the business really dropped off after 9/11. It was bad.
It was funny because if you were in New York and I was already off the island, everybody I knew was doing fucking 9/11 tribute tattoos.
Oh yeah,
especially on Long Island. Dude. That was the place for it.
Yeah, same thing on the other side of the river in Jersey.
In Jersey, I would imagine.
Everybody was because everybody knew somebody.
So it was. So most of the people I know that were staying busy were doing that kind of stuff. I was in New Hampshire at that time, so we didn't get much of that stuff.
I wouldn't think so.
So now let me ask you a question. Having been through a shit, have you apprenticed anybody?
Sort of, kinda.
You were talking about this guy Jimbo.
Yeah, Jimbo down in. I call him Jimbo. He's James Bog, but I met him when I was years later. I was working for Carlo, then I worked for Marco, and when I was working for Marco, I met him, and he was kind of just piercer kid, got kind of a little taken advantage of, and I was like, I was watching him draw one day at the thing, and I was like, dang, bro, I was like, I'm not really like able to apprentice you yet. I don't have a shop, and like. But I was like, if you want to hang and try and learn, I'll teach you what I know. And I didn't call him an apprentice till like 2015 or 16.
Wait to see how well he turned out.
He blows me out the water.
He's like, yeah, I did a little bit good on that one. Yeah, kid.
This guy shits the bed, dude. He was in a basket.
Send him on down the river.
Yeah, he's incredible. Yeah. Really is incredible. He looked up to you guys a lot, and
he's got low standards.
No standards.
No standards.
So after when he claimed me, I was like, all right, if that's the case, then I've done my job. I put someone out there better than myself. The guy who I credit with my real apprenticeship was this dude named James Scotty at Electric Dragon in Belleville. After I worked my way up through the Nork Hood shops, $25 names, $5 for every letter after 5. You know what I mean?
I remember those days. Yeah,
man. Using a 6 flat or a 9 mag, make it calligraphy real quick. Catch those $2 tips, baby. It was good.
Exactly. Oh yeah, there's always a little extra.
Oh yeah, remember we used to take the lighter and fucking fan out the fucking mags, and you're like, I can brush stroke this kanji for you, man. It's gonna be extra. It took you half the time where you're just like, like, perfect.
Dude, I remember Stanley and Walter, they're big. You want some color in there, kid? And then they just fucking take a green and just fill in like the where the yellow where the Y comes around, just fill it in green or a little bit of red. It's like, hey, Yakoa.
It's done. Fucking pain.
Well, let me ask you a question. Back then you couldn't think like this, and now you can't help but have to think like this. You don't have to, but what are your thoughts on the cats that are coming in now that are just like don't want to pay for an apprenticeship, which I'm totally down with, but feel like apprentices are being treated like nothing more than slaves, or feel they should get paid to do something that they're doing? Because I'm on a split side of that.
Right.
What's your...
So again, back to Scotty. He told me apprenticeships are supposed to be 5 years after you're on skin. That's what he told me. He said, once you're good enough to be on skin, they work for you for 5 years. That's how you make your money.
Well, that's the dedication part. Yeah, I think that was always like a standard back then.
Well, because it should have, like, I think for a long time it was an unwritten thing because that was never told to me. He just assumed it. But him and I got off on Cliff and I got off on such a bad foot. I'm like, there's no fucking, I mean, I've got entirely too big of a fucking mouth to deal with this shit. There's no fucking way.
Two New Yorkers who don't agree on something, that's so rare.
Yeah, and well, dude, I remember.
You guys
we
are some of the most calmest people in the world.
I was like, dude, if I'm here for another 6 months, one of us is going to kill the other, and I can't deal with that. And straight up told him, I was like, there's no fucking way. Like, we've almost come to blows a handful of times. The only thing that's kept us from not doing that is both of us are pussies. Yeah. Neither one of us is going to do that guy. But eventually, you can get pushed to that point. And I'm like, I can't. Because I can't keep my mouth shut. Like, Cliff, he's opinionated as fuck. So am I. We'd be sitting there. He'd say something. I couldn't help
New
but
York
say
thing.
Well, it's even worse. It's from, like, Long Island.
Long Island thing, yeah.
Yeah, there's that thing where it's like, you have, like, that Red Bull can. Yeah. And then, like, meth. You're like, this gives you the energy. And this you can eat the face off of a fucking.
Gives you wings. This gives you wings.
This gives you wings. And then you fucking eat the pterodactyl that it came with, Yeah.
Well, what are your thoughts on that? Like, if you were to bring say you found somebody that you felt was really good at what they're doing, say they're in their early 20s, they're going to struggle, they're living on their own, whatever, they have a job now. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I had a job through mine, and I had a job all the way up to May 2005.
Oh, so you had a day job that whole time?
Welding. I had bills to pay.
See, that's a hard thing to walk away from, dude. That's a fucking.
I didn't walk away from welding until. Another long story, but until we had an answering machine full of messages in April, right? We go into the shop for 5 o'clock. We had this answering machine full of messages. Hey, you guys open, da-da-da-da. And we never called any of them because there were always people waiting.
Right.
There were always people waiting. So we never even got to them. And then it was just a natural thing where it was like, hey, why don't you open the shop at noon? And I was like, okay. And I had to run at the place for the first 4 hours. So
you walked away from...
Walked away.
Now let me ask you a question. Well, I don't want to get off track, but how's business for you now?
I'm fine.
You are, okay.
I'm fine.
So you're not looking to break out the fucking welding equipment and go back to...
No, the only time I've ever
He's like, I welded to school.
Yeah, the only time I've ever looked at it in any way of, maybe, was, 3 years ago, my little dude was little. And it was just me in the shop, 6 days a week, 11 o'clock to who the F knows when. Doing good. We all were doing great. So I knew to save it and be good. But, yeah, once in a while you look at that and you go 40, 50 hours a week, nice paycheck, home with my kid on the weekends, that type of thing.
Benefits, whatever.
Yeah, and then that goes away like that. And I know, it's cradle to the grave, man.
Did you find like you were... geographically, I always say this word a lot where it comes to like tattoos, where people always say that they're super busy or really dead. I think that depending on what state, town, or even country you're into,
we can get into that.
But where when you had first decided to where you were going to leave and do your own thing, like how long were you at the shop, or like how did that go about to where you're like, no,
I was actually only at Dragon for only like 4 months because I was going to buy the shop from Scotty. I had enough put away. Nice. He wanted to leave and go to Arizona and retire and this and that. And I was like, well, let me buy it. And he was like, well, how much? And the place was famous for the Flash. So much Flash. I mean, he had 30s, 40s, 50s.
And this is what year?
This is 2005.
So this is when people kind of have an idea of what things are worth.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he had the number 4 and number 8 Fowler aluminums. He had... just so much stuff, and he was like, I'll walk away from it for $150, and the rent was only like $1,200. The shop had been there.
That's nothing.
That's what I said. I said okay, and
but back then though, that was kind of average though.
I thought it was a good price for everything that was in there.
Yeah, for everything. That's good.
No,
I mean, granted, for now it's a
well, again, but trying to explain. I mean, we were around back then, so we know the idea of like what the value of it was. But you say that now, it's like a lot of people that
because someone's gonna open up right up the street.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck. They're like, no, I'll just wait till you fucking die or fucking just fall out, and I'll just open up right across the street.
They'll just open up across the street.
They'll just open up across the street.
I mean, that's it. I mean, because that's actually I would say from. Like, I'd say mid-90s, from, 95, 96 to, the early 2000s. That's when motherfuckers stopped caring. I mean, that's when Cliff opened up right up the street from fucking, from Tattoo Blues.
I don't think people stopped caring. I think Just
No,
a lot more.
they-
A lot more people that didn't give a fuck got into it.
They just play acted at being tough guys, and they were just like, "You can't tell me nothing." And then it turned into, okay, so it's not out of respect anymore.
It's out of
now.
entitlement.
You're just trying to be. Yeah, it's. I think it's a matter of. So I don't know if with. I guess
I'm not saying
would
it
be
again.
entitlement.
It's not for everyone. Like again, it's kind of a blanket statement that it's going to come across as like, with this story, this person, that scenario is going to be slightly different. Toward the other one, like, no, that motherfucker is a degenerate. Couldn't give a fuck about that. Would fuck his own mother over. It's like there's just people who are like
honestly,
that.
that's kind of why when I left, I didn't care. I mean, to me too, when I got into it, I wanted to be an artist. You know what I mean? I wanted to be a tattoo artist. You know what I mean?
This is back when you just still playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah,
and shit?
damn fucking straight, dude.
So fucking weird,
whatever.
man.
It's not my
fucking
fault. I'm a
weird.
creative, and you're not.
What did you call it?
Creative.
Creative?
That's like the new.
Oh, is that like the new
the
version
new way
of
of calling
fucking
yourself,
dork?
man.
Is that what a fucking nerd is called nowadays? No, we're creative. Yeah, my grandma told me that, so I would stop crying.
Yeah. Oh man.
Okay, let's go back to the apprentice thing. So, like I said, if you thought like, would you do that? Would you pay somebody, or is that completely odd?
I'm not paying nobody.
You would.
Absolutely not. That's tip out. Yeah. You help out real good on the day. We all make a lot
Okay,
of money.
that's another way. That's another way of considering payment. You know what I mean?
Not no hourly. Not no. I'm gonna give you this much per week. No, that ain't happening.
See, that's where I have a hard time with it now because I do realize how difficult it is. But I am also of the opinion that, you know what, man, nothing comes for free. I'm not one of these cats that acts like, well, you go to college, it costs fucking money. Because then what's the difference between an apprenticeship and a fucking school?
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to start throwing words like, throw around logic like that, you kind of got to be careful about it. You know what I mean?
The way I look at it is, all my years that I've been doing this and looking up to guys and watching what everybody was doing and doing right and doing wrong have led me to a point where I've stabilized that big wave into a little more like this.
Right.
And I'm going to teach you how to feed your family forever.
Right. So this is what most people lack when they think of apprenticeships. They don't think of it from that perspective. They don't look at cleaning the shop, having to deal with clients, learning how to answer a fucking phone. At this point, learning, like I talked to Nico about this. His daughter does all their fucking Instagram stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a young kid, so that's part of her. Like, if anything, she's helping the shop out in that sense. You know what I mean? So it's all these little things. Like, you can learn a lot from a younger apprentice.
Sure.
But by the same token, to say that a younger apprentice can't learn anything from the guy who's teaching them, the shop owner, that's kind of fucked up. And again, this is why I think young and old, we're both barking at one another. Neither one of us are right. You know what I mean? Neither one of us are 100% right.
You have that one option or one variation, I would say, is back then you had people who were hang-arounds that come in the shop towards like, they were a clientele, got tattooed by either one specific person or everyone in the shop. When we'd have events, back when Friday the 13th actually was a customer appreciation day and not just cheap fuckers coming in and getting their sleeve worked on,
Yeah.
So it was basically, we had a barbecue day, you did some tattoos, you goofed around, you fucking cooked, you drank, it was a good time. So that's kind of what those were invented for back then, was like, that was our version of customer appreciation day. Now it's like, it's just no one gives a fuck. They're like, give me the biggest thing for the cheapest price,
That's the customer side, and then the other side with the tattooers is cash grab.
Yeah.
But
so you would have people that would come in that, hey, Johnny or Joe or someone else has been around here for like a year or 2 years, 3 years. They've been hanging out, and he's like, hey man, I really like tattooing. He's proved that he's dedicated to the shop. He's loyal to the shop, helps out when he's needed.
Sure.
And then you're like, then they slowly somehow bring it up, in passing, like, hey, would you guys look for an apprentice? You're like, well, this guy's already probably, shown himself. He's a hang around, Yep. So, all right, here we go. And nowadays you have these people, it's like, are you looking for an apprenticeship? It's like, it's fucking, you even talk to the pizza guy a little bit more, like, you guys got pizza? It's like, they couldn't give a fuck. They're just whoever says yes to the fastest.
Yep.
And they couldn't give a fuck to even know, to look into see, like, how good you are, what style you do, or anything. They're just like, show me where the thing is now. And now the apprenticeships come under fucking Amazon. They're like, I no longer need to ask you for an apprenticeship. I'm just going to order it on fucking line. It'll be here Thursday.
But that's the problem with technology. When you're looking at, you can go on YouTube. I mean, dude, if you want to fix your car, you go on fucking YouTube. If you want to learn how to fucking, put your fucking baseball cards away so they don't get damaged, you go to YouTube. There's a channel for everything now.
Sure. Well, then how do we stay busier now? Is we got to look on YouTube?
So that's what they would have you believe.
Oh yeah,
but
of all these tattoo influencers, like, here's what you got to do.
But
he's like, you start a pyramid scheme.
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you how to make more money. You just make more money, but charge that guy more money so he can go make more money.
But that's not just the tattoo industry. Where do you think we got it from? We got it from like watching guys like Gary Vee. Does the guy have some incredibly inspirational things to say? Fuck yes, he does. But everything that worked for him ain't gonna work for anybody else because he was the first fucking one. In that case, it is worth being the first person, because at that point, all the money's gone. Like, he did it. He's that guy. With us, when we keep bringing it, like, we were the first guys to do certain things in our style, and in that point, that's why we made such a big name for ourselves. But when more people keep coming around, they either glom off of us and then run with it and then take over, which is what you kind of want. But with guys like them, like, they've got a stranglehold on it. There ain't no more money. Like, I'm not going to give it to you. You want it, kill me. Like, we're going old school. Like, with us, they just got to be better. You know what I mean? They got to be a little bit more. They got to be a little bit more savvy when it comes to how they advertise themselves. And not for nothing, when someone who's 20 years younger comes in and they are good, and they haven't, everything is already out there for them. I'm not knocking them for that. Good on them. That's the whole point of being young and fucking whatever. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of things have been already handed to them, gift wrapped. They didn't have to learn how to fucking build a machine. Yeah. Fuck, they don't even have to know how to tune it. All they got to know is, who do I got to call when this one breaks? Mm-hmm. And you know what I mean? And there were people like that in our generation. How many guys have boxes full of fucking coils? Yeah. That once that machine broke, I should call Seth up because my fucking machine broke. Yeah. Well, why don't you fucking fix the goddamn thing?
I fixed so many people's machines.
Well, dude, look at what I just asked you about in the beginning.
Yeah, but see, to me, that's a proper thing of again, it's going off of what we're kind of asking about your stuff, but like telling this younger generation, like, know the products, know the tools that you're actually using, and it helps you understand why you're using them and what they're better for. I say this all the time. It's like someone comes up to me and new thing, dude, I got the new best fucking machine in the world. I'm like, what makes it better? Like, you're like, that's not a fucking answer. You're like, what is it the coils or is it the fucking motor? Yeah. Is it the fucking color? You're like, dude, it just runs so much better. I'm like, can you tell me why? It just does. And I'm like, so you fucking actually do not know. It's because you just got that machine for free and you got a cool banner, and now it's the best thing. Mm-hmm. But if another guy came along and be like, here's the next machine with another banner, you'd be like, this is the next new best thing. Like, of course it is.
The amount of pens that are recycled into the next case, they're all the same guts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how many people actually recycle those pens?
What do you mean?
Like, when you're talking about, like, these pen machines. Is that what you're talking about, the pen machines?
Yeah, but they're all the same guts.
Right, exactly.
Just different case.
But that's the worst part is most people are not redoing anything. Like, if you called up, I shouldn't say this because I don't know. If you call up some manufacturers and say, hey, my pen broke. Can I ship it back to you? And it's like, we're just going to send you out a new one.
Yep.
That's how cheap that shit is. That's
Correct.
a $1,200 machine. Mm-hmm. Well, that's, that's what they claim is
$1,200 machine. $22 to make. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was the thing. That's like perfect example when we went to Virginia, Roanoke. I got that machine from was it Andy from Godspeed?
Yeah.
And I broke a spring. Like, I broke it like 2 weeks later or whatever, And I was like, so I called him up. And to look at the way the machine was built, I said, this is not going to be a production machine. This is not going to be some guy I'm going to call up and say, hey, man, can you send me a fucking spring so I can fix it? So I fixed it. I took an old pulse spring that I had. I resprung it. And it was working. It was working good. It wasn't great, but it was working good. I called him up and said, hey, is there any... I'm going to go out on a limb and say, you don't just use your own springs. Every machine is going to be different. And his words were...
So you don't have, like, wire cutters and spring stuff?
No, and this is something I was going to say, but this is not the place for this. But no, I don't. I don't have any of that stuff. I don't build machines. I can tune a machine, so I have...
You can't cut your own springs?
No, I can't cut my own springs.
How can you cut your own springs?
I can't cut my own springs. I don't.
You can cut a fucking pizza and make a fucking chicken, but you can't cut a spring?
I do not have the equipment to cut my own springs. I never have. Because I will call up
Harbor Freight has fucking $2
It's not the fucking point.
All right, you're right. Yeah.
All right?
We don't need to prove you wrong. All right, keep going.
No, at that point, I had a bunch of old springs. I fucking took one of my springs that was around the same size. I fucking bent it, put it on the machine. It fucking ran. That's my fucking point.
There you
I'm
go.
not a machine builder. But I felt I want to get springs directly from him. And you could tell by the way he bends his back spring, the front spring, the whole bit. It's completely... Instead of sending me one spring, he sends me 9.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God damn it. Yeah. And it's the worst part about this was it wasn't even like, I'm just going to put, it's like the spring's got a hole in it. It's not a fucking, It's not a horseshoe, so I can't just drop the spring in and loosen the screw and drop the spring in. I got to take the whole fucking A-bar off. I'm like, okay, I got the day off. I'm not tattooing.
You're fucking killing me right now, man. Are you?
I'm being fucking serious. This is how people think. That's my fucking point.
Okay, you know Jay Kelly, right?
Yes.
Okay, and he's the new owner of Pulse.
And
not new owner.
I could bring. No,
you're
right.
That he's got all of that shit.
Okay, let me
to
ask
where
you a
it's like a
question.
little fucking
And I'll put
jig.
I'm gonna put the
that
word
you
out
put
there.
it in there. 2 fucking seconds for
$1
fucking
I'm
little
going to
Allen
put the
wrench.
word out there to everybody out there. If you've paid $300 for a machine and that fucking spring breaks, I would rather get the fucking part from the original person. Again, especially when I'm saying these springs are not just, okay, boom, it's fucking, here's your spring. They do not, nothing is bent like that. He sent me 9 fucking, I'll show you the fucking 9 springs.
So the next
man.
time I go get a fucking hamburger and it sucks, I gotta go, send me a cow. What the fuck?
What the fuck ever,
yeah.
dude. But the fact of the matter is, to his credit, he sent me all these machines, all these springs. I've had to respring it twice just to see which one works better. Sure. And I'm probably going to do it a fucking 3rd time because I want to make sure it fucking works the way I fucking want it to work. The way I got it when I first fucking bought the machine. That's my fucking point.
It tunes it.
But the fucking fact of the matter is, we're getting off fucking point.
See,
you can do that.
You can
do that.
See what you did? You started this shit.
You can do this with a coil machine. You cannot do this
No.
with, and 9 times out of 10, when you're calling somebody up, even with, and I want to get into what you do, if you're okay with doing that, okay? Because I know that's, well, yeah.
We don't have to do everything, yeah. Whatever you feel comfortable talking
Yeah,
about.
exactly.
I'm cool with
So,
talking
but my
machines.
point being is, most people that get a rotary machine, the rotary machine stop, the motor, because, and with that, the motors are kind of, they have it. Every one of them's got a fucking a clock on it. They're only going to last for so long.
That's right.
And the funny thing was when I did my bit with Bishop, and they made the Bettys for me. The guys here, like Timmy, is still using some of those machines from. Oh fuck! When did those come out? Like before COVID.
Oh wait. So
Like 2017?
the Betty. No, they come out before
16?
then.
It's been a long time.
Wow.
So, but
Yeah.
those machines, like they're cool looking frames. Like when my motor went bad, I called Franco up and said, "Hey man, can I get a couple of motors? Just send me the fucking motors." He's like, really?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like I don't want to lose the fucking. That's why I designed the frame the way I did.
Okay.
It's not just a regular. Oh God, I hope he fucking hears this. It's not just a standard fucking frame. Okay. This is a limited edition thing.
Sure.
We made a few hundred of these fucking things. They're gone. Okay, so if I want to keep the fucking machine running, please send me the fucking motors. And I bought them off him. He sent them to me. Everybody got a new motor. They all because those at that you literally drop them in, fucking put solder the parts together. And now those guys are still running those machines. Sure. So I still have one that still runs. That's fucking from way back then, And I use those with daily runners for years.
I still got a bunch of mine in my drawer. I gotta see.
So, but you know how the motors start to fucking lag and stuff. But if you do that with a pen, like if you call FK Irons, they're gonna be like, "Sorry, fucking, it's no longer on the fucking warranty." And again, I don't know that, but I'm pretty fucking certain. But a lot of these companies are. If you call fucking, Amazon, well, there's no returning to that. You just gotta fucking, you just gotta deal with it and fucking buy a new one. But there's a difference between buying a $25 fucking rotary and a fucking $1,200 fucking rotary.
Yeah.
$1,200 rotary, that bitch better be good for at least a year and a half.
And they're not always that different.
No,
they're really not. Yeah, as much as you like to think. Yeah, they're not. It's like Payless and fucking the shoe store. It's like
open them up. There's only a couple that I've seen that are like really different.
Well, that was one of the things that Franco in particular, and the only reason I'm going to bring his name up is because he left some shitty comments in my whatchamacallit, on my comments on YouTube, and my whole thinking was, prove me fucking wrong, dude. Yeah. Like I'm not going to say that you make a bad product. I'd never say that. I mean, I use those products. I use those products for a few years. Mm-hmm. But the fact of the matter is, don't tell me it's different. Don't tell me it's better. Like what you said, fucking prove it. Like that's all I need. Like and not for nothing, we come from a day and age where you can't say that most artists are good because of the products that they use. If anything, most artists now, they're good because they're fucking good artists. They're technicians because they can use anything that's given to them. Because we've all said this. Rotaries don't work the way you want it to work. No. They just work.
What's that guy? This guy is in Colorado. Is it Josh? Fuck, I'm spacing his name. But he when the height of when rotaries came out, and I remember like, you know, Frank Bianco came out with the first kind of rotary where he was reintroduced it back in, you know, way back in the day, and then, you know, then Neotat came out, and then, you know, the Dragonfly, and then everything kind of started kind of.
You know what the best part about that is? There's going to be if somebody eventually wants to put the actual timeline of when people, who was the first rotary and this, that, and the other thing.
The first machine was a rotary.
My point being is there is going to be a war because there's motherfuckers out there. I've been using fucking rotary since the fucking 90s. I was like, dude, yeah, whatever.
But that's tattooing. You're going to say anything. It's the fucking
no, but the fact that, but it's funny how people do get on their high horse.
But anyway, so you can see how that came about, you know, and it just, and again, like with everyone kind of, you know, it was like, you know, racing to the finish of who can make, you know, the next new thing of, you know, again, where you look at a coil and, you know, geometry wise, there has to be certain key points that have to be the same for that thing to run. And what you do in between, that's your thumbprint, you know. You kind of make the same thing, like, all right, well, this is, you know, works better for a shader. Here's a hybrid. Here's a cutback. You know, they had all those kind of things, you know. And then sometimes be like, where's left-handed, right-handed, you know, triple coil, ghost coil. You know, you were trying to just you were trying to make more round a different shape.
I think guys like that were more they were craftsmen.
Well, but that was the thing. And when you looked at like when it came to a lot of rotaries, it was just like, no, the heart of it is just the motor. How can we just build the shit around it to look differently so we can sell it for a different price? And then things just like fucking escalated to it. It was like, you know, things were like, you know, I remember back then it's like, you know, coils for sale were going between. I mean, shit. What was it? Paco Rollins was selling his for like $100.
I was just saying,
yeah.
My first machines were $1.25.
Yeah, and they went up to like
were $60.
Yeah, and then you went up to like, you know, $450 was kind of like that, roughly that range, and then, you know, like Aaron Canes and everything else, but, you know, doing one-offs, like, you know, and then Seth was doing like one-offs,
like I said,
and a lot of guys were doing those single things.
The first time I spent $500 on a machine was a Seth Safari, Aaron Kane. Aaron took the fucking frames. He carved them up. He carved the A-bar.
You still got that
machine?
This
was back in... You
still got that machine?
Fuck yeah. I'd never part with that one.
Yeah.
My biggest regret, and I know who owns the liner, I got the shader, and I couldn't... Because that was the first time that I ever purchased a machine for $500. It was at Atlanta. Seth was set up right behind us, and he's like, "Yo, man, I know you dig on machines. Check this out." And he fucking hands it to me, and I'm like,
"You fucking knew it."
It was like handing a crackhead a fucking pipe. It's like, "Where's the match? Give me the lighter. Give me the fucking lighter." And I'm like,
he's like, "You know, I'm buying this."
And I was looking at him like, "God damn, dude!" And he was just like, "I'm like, how much?" And he was like, $500. And I'm like, that was the first time I'd ever heard $500 for a machine. I was like, and I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. And I took it. Like, I hadn't started tattooing this Friday fucking morning. Hadn't started tattooing, and he goes, "You know, I got a liner for it too." And I'm like, "God damn it!" He was like, "Dude, I got to
motherfucker knew what he was setting up."
He's like, "If I can make money." By the end of the weekend, he'd sold it.
Yeah,
the liner was gone, and I kick myself in the ass for not having the money to buy both of them. Yeah. Or at the very least say, "Hey, listen, man, at the end of the weekend I'll buy it." He sold it immediately. Right. And I think it's Mark Fairchild who wants to pair them.
Oh, damn.
And know how tempted I am to call Mark up and be like, "Hey, man, I just can't afford it. I guarantee you."
Basically, you're gonna call him, but Mark's gonna be like, "Well, how much you want for yours?"
That's my problem. That's my problem. So I own 3 Aaron machines. The one I did sell to Ralphie, the guy who used to work there, because he was using both of them for a time, and he was just like, "How much you want for this machine?" And I'm like, "They're not for sale, dude. Just like, you can use it for now." He used it for about a week or two, and then fucking Eric's walking by the room, and he goes, "You know what, man? Fucking money talks." And he just walked away and fucking, like, literally, he's like, "I got blah, blah, blah in my fucking pocket right now." If it were anybody else, I'd tell them to go fuck themselves. But it was Ralphie.
Yeah, Ralphie's a good dude.
He's somebody I know is going to appreciate.
Anyway, we keep wrapping on this fucking thing.
Yeah.
So I remember the prices kept going up. So they kept, you know, jumping in price. And everything was like, they went from like, I remember rotaries went from like $250 to $350. Then it was like $450. Then people were like $650. People were like, what the fuck is the rotary for $650? And when it was going up and up, I remember he came out and he was like, "Look, I bought this fucking Chinese knockoff machine." He's like, "It runs better." He did everything. He did this whole speech about it on how it didn't work no fucking different. He said, "I took this fucking machine apart that I got, and I took this thing." He goes, "The motors are exactly the same." And he goes,
worse.
It can be
even worse. It's not a good machine. It's not a good motor. It just happens to work for X amount of time."
Yeah. So he showed those whole things, and so like that's where it kind of became where people were really learning, like, well, the outside is kind of whatever. And now it become down to like, well, we no longer need the power unit. We're going to make the fucking pen the actual power unit. So it was just trying to like make round more round. You know, it's like the only thing you can improve on is the material that it's made of, not circle. Circle's all is circle. You know.
Well, I mean, pigment went through a time where
it's still
it was
going through
the
that way.
size
I mean,
of the palette that really mattered, and then it
went back when
most
we only had
people
like
never
fucking
looked at
12
the
colors,
quality.
and now there's like 496
But how many people
fucking
look
reds.
at the quality of that pigment over time? I mean, I've used pigments like back in the 90s.
Again, but
that didn't.
I think these kind of conversations stem from people who've been generational, to where it's like we've seen the evolution of where we had to make our own pigment, as opposed to now to where people don't necessarily. There's no reason for them.
Oh,
to
they don't
make
even
pigment,
know. They think the Easter Bunny comes around and shits out bottles of pigment.
But that's what it's. But they don't. There's no need for them no more. There's that come around. It's like there was people that at one point had to farm their own fucking food. You had to shoot your own fucking food. Now you're like, you just go through the fucking drive-thru. But there's a fucking point to where it's like you see that evolution of that kind of thing coming around. But it's still good to kind of know that, have that knowledge, so you know what quality is. To where it's like, the reason why it's like, well, I know I'm going to ask you what makes this the better pigment or a better machine is because you have the knowledge of like what the components make up of it, or why it's better. But if you can't ask the manufacturer or the salesperson to give you that kind of answer, then you're like, well, dude, you're just a puppet. You're a mannequin fucking holding up the product. That's all it is.
And I think that's one of the biggest problems that we find in the business today, that there is very few people that you can purchase something from that you can actually get an honest.
I think that's what a lot of us were saying is like, talking to actual people, like, like when they say like, it's great to fucking buy equipment and things from actual people who've been in the community a long time, or actual builders themselves, or things, because they have that knowledge where it's like, I'll give you just enough to know, but I'm not going to make you my competition. But I'm going to tell you this, I'm going to let you know what you need to know about why this is healthy, why this is safe, why this is,
or
why
you
this
just
is
go on
better.
YouTube.
Yeah. Or you can do that too, whatever. But the idea of it is like, you want to help support people that are kind of going in there as opposed to answering just cause.
And I think that's a difference between a lot of individuals in this business, that there are people that truly want to fucking support. Like, again, my relationship with Franco started with, hey, I want to support this fucking guy.
Yeah.
Like, I like this fucking guy. I like his product. He makes a good thing. He was willing, like, when I came back from Brazil, I showed him what we had come up with, and he's like, oh, we can do this. And my whole thing with what we were saying before was, if I'm going to make something, it's got to have it's got to look like I don't want it to only be good, but I want it to look like, oh, that's fucking Joe Capobianco. Mm-hmm. And that's why I stick with
He's
the
like, I need this machine to not ever need to spring it by myself. Mm-hmm. I just need it to just fucking someone else to give me a spring so I can fucking connect it.
Dude, I'm not cutting springs. I'm fucking you.
Got cuts all over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
enough about Joe. Man, let's get back into your story, because fuck this guy. Because we know he doesn't want to do anything.
So with the shop, like when you eventually end up moving back to Jersey, like what was, like, you went from working in street shops and stuff like that. How different, like, are you still pretty much just a street shop, just doing whatever comes in the door?
I just happen to be, people like my work, and I'm booked out, which is, awesome.
Now, do you think that, so in the area that you're in, you said it's a little bit more rural?
We are on the rural side. You ever seen the Jersey Shore show?
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Sadly.
So,
okay.
Yeah. We're there. It's like 3 miles from us, but that whole section, that's where we're at.
Sadly.
Yeah.
So
tattoos a big culture there, for sure.
So do you feel like because it's not so overly saturated, it's allowing
overly saturated? We have 600,000 people in our county, 660,000 people in our county, 300,000 of which are either elderly, retired folks, which I tattoo some of them because everybody else blows their skin out, or they're Hasidic Jewish. So that leaves us 300 and some odd thousand people, right? Figure at least 100,000 of them are underage, okay? Luckily, Jersey, you can do 16, but it's a whole messy thing. At the height, when we opened in January 2021, we were number 55.
Of just shops?
55 shops for 200,000 adults. Okay?
See, I look at that. I don't think that's bad.
Really? Oh,
dude.
Shit, come by me.
Yeah. I was gonna say in Orlando.
Oh, dude. Where we're at, we always say, like, if,
I mean, granted, you're throwing real numbers around, that's smart. I mean,
it's smart, the fact that you actually looked into that.
When it went up, I'm very close to my health department because we're dealing with a PMU thing over there like everybody else is dealing with. They make us jump through hoops to do pictures on skin, but people get to tattoo the faces with a 100-hour online course and open up a retail establishment.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's and then, don't worry about it. We don't check in on you. So you start doing the tiny tattoos. They start piercing, even though it's a separate license.
But these are things that need to be brought to light, because that's the problem with all this shit. Is like there's a lot of people in our field that don't want anything to do with dealing with the health department. I was one of them for a very long period of time.
Me too.
But it does come to a point where it's like you have to come to the realization if you're not going to be the one to fucking help kind of steer the cart,
Yeah.
then it could be one of those cocksuckers that's going to be
Yes.
like, dude, why does the guy who's been tattooing for 15 fucking years get to do whatever they fucking want, and my license
we've
that I
witnessed
just
that.
got from a fucking school is no good?
We witnessed that thing from a lot of conventions we went to. There's been certain states where I'm not even going to, throw the names out there to give them any kind of support, but like we went to certain conventions where if I didn't have my high school diploma, I couldn't tattoo there. I go, do you know how many fucking people got into tattooing because they dropped out of high school?
Yeah,
like, what the fuck does me having a fucking high school diploma have to do with me drawing, And they're like, no, you have to have this. And it was like parts of where I went in Canada to where they're like, no, you have to have your ink cap stored in alcohol. I have to store ink caps in alcohol for what? And you're like, wait, is this fucking barber fucking licensing that you did? Where you're like, oh, so it's got to, and you're like, that fucking doesn't sit right. But you see some of these people where it's like, they just had to make up something and they had no one else to fucking guide them through this. So they look at the next thing. Well, what falls under tattooing? Strip clubs, fucking bars and fucking barbershops and nail salons and massage parlors. And so what they hold them for a healthy standpoint, they're like, well, just give it to them. You're like, but you can fucking walk into a dentist office or a hospital and fucking see blood and shit fucking everywhere. And you're like, this is okay? You're like, what's a hospital? They know better. You're like, do they?
Do they?
But then you look at other shit, dude, we'll get off. I don't want to pull a Joe on you and fucking steal the story.
Who's been talking?
Yeah. Yeah, the whole fucking time, this guy, right?
What the fuck?
Hey, not for nothing, right? Is that the fucking name of the thing? Yeah. And
I'll
then,
have to have you come out so you can actually say something.
Yeah. He's gonna be like, yeah, I spring my own shit. Fuck off. So they just make up like, well, fuck, this is the standard of it, and just let it go through. Where in Orlando we were saying like geographically it makes a big difference to like where certain people like, well, we're busy, we're not busy, or this is that busy. Dude, if you put a fucking pin in our fucking where our addresses of our shop and did a fucking just a 1.5 mile radius circle, but just by car, that you're just taking a 1.5 mile radius, you hit maybe almost 20 shops.
Okay.
Just in with the fucking less than a fucking 10-minute drive, you're hitting that many shops, and then you fucking go a little bit further out. It's like it's so overly saturated, and then in some of these shops, like there is some really good people that have been in the business that are like know that are tried and true. And then you look at these other ones, and it's like this is like a tattoo school, but like, oh, we don't sell tattoo. We don't do tattoos. We do cosmetic makeup and everything like that. But we also specialize in micro tattoos. And you're like, what the fuck? So that's not tattoos? No, they're micro tattoos. So they're not tattoos.
We just had a place open.
And that's how they fucking get away with it.
Not here, further south of here, but in a more commercial area. I don't think a place like that would really survive in like, I don't want to say New Haven's rural Connecticut, because it's really not, but places like Stamford, Greenwich, like Norwalk, those are closer to like, to New York.
Yeah, sure.
So you're going to get people with deep pockets come up. More people with deep pockets live there. There's a lot more soccer moms and want to be fucking. So I think you'll have more of that kind of stuff up here. There are a handful of shops where people claim to be fucking, micro tattoo fucking artists or whatever, and they're pulling in. Because I think what we see now is we see these
they're like,
people that are just
you specialize in fine line? You mean fundamentals?
Yeah.
but that's the thing. Is like, no. Well, so here's the thing: when you have two people say, "I specialize in fine line," and then the guy with the tattoo on his fucking face goes, "Yeah, you mean the fundamentals?" Who do you think they're going to go to? They're going to go to the fucking the soccer mom.
No, I get, but I mean that again. We're getting way off of it to where it's like tattoo shops kind of come down to like like how music like. If you're a fucking country fan, you're not going to a hardcore show. If you like fucking rap, you're not going to fucking, rock, You'll have people, it's like, I don't want to walk into a fucking shop to where I'm getting confused to where it's like, is this a fucking incense fucking flower store?
Yeah.
Or is this a tattoo shop?
Yeah.
You walk into a tattoo shop and there's some people like, no, you guys look scary. I don't like this look. I need to go in there to where I feel like it's a safe place.
Sure.
Like every place is a safe place until you fuck it up and don't need to belong there. Then don't belong,
Yep.
And so you have these kind of different options to where it's like, I understand the variety of, style of shops to cater to certain kind of clientele.
Sure.
But there is a point to where it's like the shit gets so overly fucking saturated to where it's like you're preying on the dumb almost to where it's like, it used to be when people came into the shop, you help educate them to be like, look, maybe you don't feel comfortable. You walk in, you want to learn about tattooing. Let me show you what you can kind of look for. So until you can go home, feel comfortable walking back in here, let me help you out. Towards a lot of them now, they're like, nope, I looked at it, like they don't need to know anything. They don't even look at like a portfolio. They don't look at fucking like, asking them questions, how long have you been tattooing? They walk in and be like, well, you're here, you own the shop, so you must be doing it for a long time. Where back home, we have like 1-2 year tattooers that have 3 or 4 fucking apprentices, and they're like, we're booked for 2 years. And you're like, why? And you're like, well, because you know how to fucking make the TikTok commercial. Sure. It's like you got the fucking body, the car, the music, and everything else.
A lot of places, like what you were just saying, you're putting the control in the hands of the client in the sense of like when you're ready, when you know what you want, when you do, like back in the day. I mean, we came from a day and age when the person was walking through the door.
They wanted to get tattooed. Yeah, they wanted to get tattooed.
When you walk in the door,
they don't know what they
money.
fucking want. So we live in a day and age where today, where people look at it from the perspective of like, well, I don't want the stuff on the fucking walls. Back in the day, I mean, that's what people like because they didn't know what they wanted.
Well, I mean, it's still Flash, but it's called Pinterest now.
No. Well, that's my point. That's my point. That's what eventually I'm going to get to because back then you didn't have the social media you have now. You had the idea or a magazine that you saw, whatever, that made you go, oh, I got to go there. I got to go to that place to get that tattoo. And then when you walked in, there's this plethora of cool shit. Mm-hmm. You fast forward from 93, for me personally, to like, say, 96, 98. Now my book collection is getting bigger. Now you got more publications coming out. So now you're putting more magazines out on this. So now people are coming in, they're like, well, I kind of like that. I like that Jack Rudy thing, but I like that. But I'm like, hey, check out this fucking book that just came out. It's a bunch of Philip Blue art. Check this stuff out. Now you're showing them that. So people are getting, spoon-fed little things. Now they're like goose that they're fucking shoving a thing down their throat, filling up their fucking liver, and then cutting it out, and fucking people are fucking smearing it on bread. It's no longer like a small...
I have no idea to
foie gras. It's a fucking... any foodies out there know what I'm talking about. But the fact of the matter is...
It's a good thing Joe's not talking over him right now.
But the fact is, it's like with something like that, it's just a different dynamic. And people now are going, oh, you don't want to go to that shop. You need to come here because we're a safe space. We make something. There's no art on the wall because I don't want you to think that I'm a human being. I want you to think that I'm here for you. Yeah. Like whatever you want, whatever you're thinking, that's what I'm going to tell you because that's what I need to get you in my chair. Well, I mean, so there's a bit of a hustle.
There's a problem with that too is because I say this a lot of times, like, again, it used to be that when someone walked in, they wanted to get tattooed or they wanted to know information about possibly coming in and getting tattooed or making an appointment or something, But nowadays, it's like we become these circus animals to where we got to like dog and show pony the clientele where they have a bigger voice for art than we do. Where you come in and you're like, oh, I liked your stuff. You're like, oh, okay, cool. You do American traditional. You could say you do everything. They're like, well, here's what you're gonna do. You're going to do this kind of thing. You're like, why? I don't do realism. I don't do portraits. We have a guy here for that. No, you're going to do it. You're like, no, I'm fucking not, But, you have to listen to like the clientele now tells the artist what they have to be doing,
I've seen
and
that
it's a
happen.
weird entitlement kind of fucking thing.
I've seen it happen.
So asking you about like the area you're in, the fact that you know all those demographics and all those numbers is impressive because most people don't think that way. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You said you've got a good reputation. How many guys are working in your shop?
1.5.
He's
got a midget
yourself. Like a half.
He's got a midget that works there. Yeah,
kinda. Maybe in the brain sometimes. In the 60 months.
Wait, are you allowed to say midget? Can you?
Just not the R word, I think.
Oh, you can't say you can't say retarded midget.
Oh, those words are coming back.
No retarded midget.
I know.
Oh, okay.
60 months were open in January. I've been alone 37 of those months. I've had at most 2 people at one time
working there.
Now, is that based on you can't find people that want to work? I
fired a lot real quick. People come in and I make them do a test tattoo. They do the dildo wipe down. I say, you want to bet that's not clean? And no one passes it. Only the one guy who wasn't willing to bet me. And snotters out of all of them. It was disgusting. But I have a nice young guy from Turkey, and he's young, so I gotta he practically needs an apprenticeship.
Well, sometimes it's better to get people like that
if they're open and willing, and they've already got some of it. Now let's
How did you find him?
He found us because I ran another ad, and he come down, but about a year ago, and but his language barrier was tough.
Yeah,
that was really, really tough for the first number of months.
Young kid or
very young. Nice. He came to us ironically has the same birthday as me. Who would have thought? Right?
Well, it's funny, like you say that you do have a hard time finding.
I would kill for one other like actual artist. Like I'm at the point with my shop where I would let good artists come work for free just to be around them. Like come guest for free because obviously I'm getting to that age where I'm the old guy, and that's all right. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, right.
But
you want to be around people that kind of
I just
inspire.
want, man.
Yeah, we just had this conversation earlier, right before you got here. We're talking about finding yourself in an artistic font.
Last week's episode.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
wearing the same shirt. Yeah.
I'm blessed with my clients. They really love my work, and they let me go really crazy. They all bring me an idea and say, "Please do what you do." So, very, very.
So I
fortunate.
think the big thing that what it sounds like I'm seeing with you is the fact that you are in an area which is pretty saturated with artists, in tattoo shops. You know what I mean? But you managed to cut yourself a little swath of that in a very short period of time, if you think about it, because most shops like that are bragging about it. I think that's one of our issues here, that we've been around for over 20 years.
Sure.
And now we're the old guy shop. And people look at it from that perspective. And even if you and even the people I bring in, I'm not bringing in young people. Like, somebody had once given me advice that I needed to have a woman in the shop. And I'm like, dude, do you realize how to me, that's chauvinistic.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only thing they bring to the table.
Yeah.
I'm like, if somebody came in that I felt was worth their salt, sure. Fuck yeah, dude, I'd hire that in a heartbeat, Sure. But to actively look for it makes no sense. Now my wife is with us, but she's already got a good clientele. So it's hard to say whether or not having her here, because the shop that she worked for just closed down because of the times we're going through right now. So she came here. So it's going to be interesting as an experiment, in the sense that, you have a woman here? Oh, we'll get tattooed by her.
I can absolutely say for a fact my wife's been running the front the whole time. 1 year little break so we could sort out some things, but financially speaking, not, it was I needed a couple surgeries, and the one didn't go so good. So so if
you talk back and she kicked you in the balls, huh?
Almost, yeah, it's pretty close.
My ball, kick me in my ball.
Yeah, it's pretty close. But
you know how to fix it? You just say yes, ma'am.
That's right. That's right. And but no, that having her at the front, and she's very knowledgeable. I've taught her a lot. And she's been around a lot. She's been able to meet a lot of great people, and without her, I wouldn't. When she went back to work for a little while because I needed that surgery, and it was 2022, I think.
It was just a shit time too.
Oh fuck
It was hair pulling, and she was so good still is so great with the clients and everything. So they'd walk in and where's Tony? And I'm like, oh well, I was 2 weeks away from just going, all right, it's walking only, because I couldn't handle
appointments and shit like that.
Yeah, just everything that she does. Like,
well, I mean,
without that,
I think you would. I mean, you're saying it. It's like good management is everything, and that's.
Well, I think that's a lot of what I think people really miss about a proper apprenticeship is learning how to be a counter person.
Yes,
it's learning how to read your clientele, how to not kind of be somewhat of a chameleon. To where it's like, you have an older generation to come in. There's a certain way you speak with them. There's a younger generation. It's like you have to understand and read the clientele and have proper good etiquette mannerisms.
Yep.
And a lot of times, artists was we're already so frustrated because of some dumbasses gave you the same story of his car broke down, his girl left in the middle of the night, his dog is sick. It's almost like the same clientele is oh dude, I'm sick, I can't make it in today. You're like, or you just fucking hung over from last night, or you spent all your fucking tattoo money, and no, I'm fucked over. So it's you kind of see you hear that same kind of excuses for all that stuff.
Sure.
So we deal with all that, and then when you have to go also be the counter person again, it's like you're walking up there with a little bit of frustration. It's like, not that I mean to take it out on the person walking in. It's just that my give a fuck limit is very low.
I think everybody in this shop will say that Adam is you're usually on the front line of that, so you do.
And my give a fuck limit is real low.
Yeah.
But I like how fucking school bus driver Joe just fucking ran you over on that shit.
No, because I'm making a point.
Is that Adam? No, I don't want to talk to that guy. He's too fucking mean.
I'm making
give a fuck limit. He didn't stop at the gas station before he got here.
I think that a lot of people don't realize that when you are answering stupid questions, the majority of the time you leave your fucking room. It is hard, and I don't give a fuck what anybody out there that says it's well, you just got to be fucking better to your client. Shut the fuck up. When you're in a busy shop and you're dealing with dozens of people a day,
not all then of them
talk
good.
to me.
Yeah, not all of
don't
them are good.
Tell me that in your fucking private studio where you've made a consultation 3 times a week and you got the person and you're serving them tea and there's incense and all kinds of
or your clientele filled out an application
to get the
client. Yeah, to get the consult. That's the best. I
Oh my God!
Yeah. For that.
Oh God! Yeah, please.
So it was 2 or 3 years ago, 3 or 4 now. I get a phone call like 10:45 and see she's dying over there because this one's hysterical, right? I get a phone call in the morning and this gal says, "Hey, is this tattoo shop?" I said, "Yeah," and I said, "Tattoo," and she goes, "Wait, you're a person?" And I said, "Is this a fucking joke?" And she goes, "No, like I mean like." What do we have to do to come talk to you about a tattoo? I'm like,
Hey, walk in.
That's exactly what I said. I said, walk in.
You're talking to me now.
Yeah. She was like, wait, you're serious? And I'm like, is this a fucking joke at this point? And she's like, no, I'm sorry. We've talked to 30 shops. They all want us to do applications and make times and da-da-da-da. I'm like, no, you can just fucking come in. And she was like, all right, cool. When are you open? I'm like, I'll be there in 10 minutes. I've now tattooed her daughters, her family, and
but to be honest with you, dude, like we have people that come in here. I just did a woman, and when I'm getting set up for it, I'm like, it's the first time in the shop. She's like, yeah, I just moved here from wherever. She's from Connecticut, but I'm like, well, what brought you to us? And she's like, well, you guys have really good, Google reviews, and you do walk-ins. That was it.
That's it.
And that's like letting the cat out of the bag because now all you gotta do is say you do walk-ins.
Well, I love all the people who are like, they always seem to have cancellations. Like every other day, there's a cancellation,
yes.
right? At which if your cancellation rate is 50%, then you're doing something wrong. You know what I mean? Exactly. Period. The end. And or I'm booking the next month when it's like a week later. Just say you do walk-ins at this point. Yeah. Like I'm doing walk-ins these days, and that's it.
And that's hard to kind of to cater towards that certain thing because again, we talk about this all the time. It's like people are like you just need to post more. And you're like I'm fucking over saying that I got availability.
Sure, that's what I'm saying.
And so when there's like what I tell people is like, look, if I'm not tattooing something, I will tattoo whatever the fuck walks in. I don't care. Like I'm a tattooer. Like I enjoy doing tattoo artist stuff.
Of course,
but it's like. I just like the fact that I can tattoo, So like people act like that's such a big fucking deal sometimes, It's like,
well, but again, I think when you have individuals that are coming in, younger individuals that are coming in that know that, oh well, I need to do this, I need to create a portfolio that does this, then yeah, man, that does make sense, But the fact of the matter is, you shouldn't be saying I'm not going to do anything else because I don't do that. I was like, anything that you can do is going to help the one thing that you want to do.
Well, so let me ask you guys this: as both shop owners, do you guys feel it's very important to let you know that you're not just an appointment only shop, or do you feel like it's really important to just say that, hey, we always do walk-ins? But the problem with that is that if you're showcasing and advertising that you do walk-ins, but you don't have the artists that stick around. Because you have like the, less than fucking 8-year tattooer that's like, oh my God, I tattooed for 4 hours today. My hands hurt. And now I feel mentally trained that I got to fucking take a hiatus for 3 weeks and go to, off to whatever fucking country and smell fucking flowers because, I don't feel safe. My feelings are hurt. And you're like, really? Or my back's hurting. I'm like, your fucking back's hurting for a 4-hour tattoo?
What was the question?
So like, having the ability to where it's like having people around you to where is it better nowadays to just be a walk-in shop or just say like, nah, you know what, we do appointments only, or like, how do you feel like, is that catered to like the area you're in, or is it you feel it's better now just to be a complete walk-in shop that also accepts appointments?
Books always open. Walk in.
That's always like a dumb, books always like, it's like you should say your app isn't closed. Like no one has an actual fucking book no more. It's like very rare.
Everything's paper. Yeah, everything's paper.
Yeah, we have one person, no, 2 people in here that are paper still.
Yeah, paper. It does. I personally, I mean, again, the wife does it all, but I think it.
I feel like she should be over here just talking.
Probably should.
Yeah.
I think it looks better.
She's like, these dumbasses don't just draw, you fuckheads.
I think
that's kind of what it is. You go in the back and make pretty stuff.
She's like, these guys don't know nothing. She's like, yeah.
I think with what you're saying is like, we've never been an appointment only shop, but when there was a time in like in the early 2000s
when things were busier, in
the early 2000s where you did take appointments because people wanted to make sure they got in. But if we had an opportunity to get somebody in, we would do it. But a lot of times when you're taking a noon appointment, you're taking a 4 or 5 o'clock appointment, your book is pretty much done. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So you did have a cancellation list that you would call if anybody had the time. And then, but having said that, we would do walk-ins if the opportunity, and we tell that to people all the time. And that's the problem with here, I think. When people ask, you do walk-ins, we're like, yeah, if we have time to do it, we'll do it. Just call or just come down.
Yeah.
I think, and this is where it comes down to the client. The client becomes lazy. They don't want to just roll in on a shop, which I can understand because you can come into a shop on a day that everybody's there and we're all working. You know what I mean? But these same people will be like, oh, so do you guys do walk-ins? We're like, yeah. Cool. Can I come in at 4 o'clock? Well, do you want to book an appointment for 4 o'clock?
I like the people that are like, I want to make an appointment for a walk-in.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm pretty fucking sure you don't know what that word means.
But that's my point, is the fact that they don't understand what it is to be a walk-in. And there's been opportunities like when we do walk-in, flash walk-in days. Sure. People will come in and then they'll bring something in. They're like, well, I want to get this. And I'm like, okay, the flash walk-in day is really the stuff off the walls. That's what we're doing today because it's just, we have everything set up and we're going to move. But I just want this. Well, then you could book an appointment, or you could be a walk-in tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because everybody's going to have time tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're just like, so I need to make an appointment. I'm like, I didn't say that. I'm just telling you that if you want to come in to get that particular tattoo, you're going to have to do it tomorrow or at a later date. Then there's the other person that comes in and says, you guys do walk-ins, right? I'm like, yeah, what are you looking to get done? I want this sleeve.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I can sit here all day and fucking draw that sleeve, or you could just book an appointment for fucking next week, and I'll be prepared to do that all day long. Well, I want it today. Okay, I get that.
Yeah,
What you want is going to require me spending 6 hours drawing. I don't want to do that while you're sitting in the front room.
Yeah, I think what
Just
we're doing
book
right
it.
now is we're just comparing stupidity phone calls, is because
But
we
that's-
do have those people to where it's like, if you're we are in a tourist area, so it's like we do have those people that come in and are like, oh shit, hey, I'm so sorry, I know you guys close at fucking 10 o'clock, man, but we just want to get these little tattoos. And you're like, you know what? You're like, yeah, they're cool, they come at you respectfully, or you have those like group of those, and I don't give a fuck if anyone's offended by this, but you have those fucking Starbucks sorority fucking sisters that fucking look like every fucking thing you want to punch yourself in the ear with a spoon, and they're
come
just
and
like,
smell like
they're
pumpkin
like,
spice.
you guys do walk-ins, right? And we're like, yeah, we do walk-ins. They're like, okay, well, we're gonna go to the bar and drink, and then we're gonna come by. What time do you guys close? And we're like, well, we close at 10. All right, we'll be by at 10. You're like, go fuck yourself. You don't come in at the fucking time for a walk-in as we close. And here's the best part. All 12 of them walk in, and you're like, fuck, hey, guys, we got 12 people here. And you know what? It's one fucking person getting tattooed. And you're like, what do you want? I don't know yet.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, I want to karate chop you in the fucking throat so goddamn hard.
Well, but therein lies. So here's the problem with this conversation right now. Guys 10, 15 years ago, guys today will be like, dude, fuck it, I don't give a shit. Come in.
No, yeah. Dude,
And that's the thing. But here's my problem with that. My problem is there are rules. And that's it.
Well, now there has to be, yeah.
But no, there always have been rules.
Back
there
then,
always have
we
been
had like the
rules.
pirate guideline. It was kind of suggested
No,
back then. Even on our door now, it's like we open at 10-ish, and then we close at 10-ish.
No,
It's
I
like
get-
back then
I
it was
get
like,
that.
you fucking stayed until there was no one there. Now it's like, I go to the shop, and it's like people are like, well, what time you get there? So I get to the shop at 12, and it's like, if nothing's fucking going on, I'm so fucking old. I know I'm fucking grumpy and I'm fucking bitter, and I'm okay with that. I don't fucking care. But like, come towards fucking 7, 8 o'clock, and I've fucking been there all day, nothing's walked in, and I'm fucking taking on, be like, dude, just taking off now. And you're like, yeah, dude, I've been here fucking 5 days, nothing's came in, and then fucking you leave like, oh, dude, walking came in. You're like, go, I don't fucking care. But you're like, you're supposed to be there and you feel bad. But repetitive, your care can only last so fucking long to where it's like, if you know you're fucking gonna go get tattooed, like, be respectful of the fucking people in the shop. You fucking reach out. But again, it becomes, this is a generation of entitlement to where like people just expect everything to fucking cater on them.
But that's my point. My point being is,
You had a
even
point?
back in the day, apparently, even back in the day, you had the rules. Shop closed at 10 o'clock. Yeah, of course you stayed till 11, 12 o'clock. No big deal. But it wasn't something that you didn't advertise that. You didn't tell people.
No.
You
tell them when they leave.
You tattooed everyone in the fucking lobby.
When somebody got there at fucking 9:45 and you sat down, you tattooed them till 11:30, they were appreciative enough to say, hey man, thank you very much.
Thanks
I
so
really
much for
appreciate you
staying
sticking
late,
around.
yeah.
Now, they get tattooed, they fucking pay, and they're just like, okay, later. And they walk out not realizing, and I'm not saying everybody's like that, but a lot of people are. They don't realize it's like, dude, do you realize what this just did for you? Like, that's a lot, man. And the worst part is, they probably can't remember who you are. They won't remember where they got tattooed the next day. When someone goes, oh, we should get tattooed. Where'd you get that one? Oh, I don't know. Let's just see who's open.
Yeah, who did it? I don't know.
Like, Adam deals with it all the time. People come in, they get a cool tattoo. They come into him to get a name. And he's like, who did the cool tattoo on you? Oh, I booked an appointment with such and such. Well, why the fuck didn't you come here for the cool tattoo? You come here for the dumb shit little tattoo? Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
But you can't help but be a little offended. And I'm sorry if anybody's going to be like, you fucking pussy. Yeah, go fuck yourself. Like, I'm a little offended that you didn't come here to get the cool tattoo. And by the way, the cool tattoo you got someplace else kind of sucks.
Yeah.
That's a thing. That's a fucking thing.
Well, I know it's pretty rare you get offended, Joe, but again, I feel like this is like a dinner conversation, and then we're getting off of the fact that we got him here to talk about it. He's like, yeah, I said it on a podcast, and be like, what did you learn? He's like, I know that guy's name, and I know Joe hates everything about what's happening now. And I know Jay's wife runs everything. That's what I fucking know. But like everything else is like, well, he tattooed a long time ago, and then Joe doesn't like fucking people walking at 10 in fucking Adam's fucking half fuel tank.
And that's all I know. Got a point across. The fuck ever.
I did a lot of work in New York, around New York. Carlo was, God rest his bastard soul. He was.
You are a nicer person than I.
Yep.
Fuck.
Yeah, he was a tough man to deal with, but he taught me that. You're in at noon, and if someone walked in at 11:58 and wanted a big tattoo, he'd be on the phone. You better do that. Don't you make an appointment.
You know what the best part is? Be on the phone, sitting on the fucking lounger with his slippers and his fucking... Don't get me started.
Fucking Carlo.
Well, but that's the thing, is that is a bitch, because it is not somebody leading by example. And I'm that guy.
Exactly.
Like, I leave at a certain hour. These guys have hours. Like, I don't. You know what I mean? And again, in 20 more years, you'll have hours too. I mean, you can leave whatever you want to, Adam.
I'm in every
Reason
day.
being is why this is called Not For Nothing. What it really means is do as I say, not as I do.
Oh, dude, that's my thing. I mean, I have been saying that since my mom told me that when I was fucking 6. But Mom, do as I say, not as I do. Children should be seen, not heard. Fuck off.
But you get to a point where you earn that.
So and therein lies that's exactly it. When you've ponied up the money to open up a place, and you create an environment for people to hang out in, and you try to do whatever you can to make sure that everybody's working. Like, nobody comes in here and, like, when they tell me they're not busy, I'm like, oh, that's too fucking bad. Yeah. I'm going into my room later.
Yeah,
like,
it sucks going into a shop where you're
stressful.
giving rent, where you're paying a percentage of rent, and the owner of the shop basically answers, no, just post more.
Yeah, no.
And you're like, yeah, I'm not a fucking commercial, man. I wonder where you like.
Yep.
I understand giving you money, but you also have to. It's a teeter totter. Like, we both got to fucking make this machine work. You know, it's like, I'm here to also help fucking give you money so the doors can stay open and you can fucking have your 900 fucking million fucking toys. But also, like, you have to do a part too to fucking make sure that I can make a living to fucking also give you money. But when the people's answers is like, nah, just post more, just post more. And you're like, no, it's not helping out.
I've been so removed from it the last 5 years, and I've heard so many horror stories like that, you know, from people, and then I'm in there, first one in, taking out the trash myself, mopping at night myself. I lead by example. Everybody else comes and goes when they please. But then the only time I get a little about it is, don't complain to me about money.
Yeah.
Don't complain to me about money. You leave at 7 o'clock and someone comes in at 7:30. I finish at 8:30 and I take them. You left.
Yeah. I think that is something that someone needs to glean, and that's something you only learn. You learn that the hard way.
So let me ask you this then. So, as a shop you're in, how many walk-ins a day do you feel come into the studio?
Boy, we are in the most hit or miss time. We all.
Well, yeah, no, it's kind of
yeah.
a blanket statement. Yeah,
I mean, you can also say that in the heyday, like when you. Well, no, that's not true. Because you haven't had a heyday in the shop. You've only been
got
there
to at least the way I look at my whole life in this craft is you have to remove 2020 to 2023.
Yeah,
you have to remove.
Well,
that
and this is
the
thing you say that is because that was the biggest influx of
course.
tattooers in this business who came into this thinking,
oh
my God,
yeah,
this
you
is
can just
wine
sit at home and fucking
roses.
watch YouTube and be like,
You know,
I can learn right now.
Well, the crazy thing was I didn't see it here. Like I don't think we saw it here. We didn't get this crazy push. Maybe because it's New England. I don't know. I mean, did you see a big push of fucking in that time?
Oh, I did down in Florida.
But I'm saying by us.
But I can't say it even then.
I was busier
when I lived in
after COVID.
When I lived in fucking Vegas.
I mean, we were open illegally. But,
yeah, when I lived in Vegas, man, you seen like there was so many fluctuations of shops in there, but everywhere you went, like. Every fucking valet guy, every fucking waitress girl, like everybody tattooed out of their house.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, well, I'm not paying for the insurance or the, you know, the licensing to tattoo here. I got the equipment, you know, like, come on over. Like, people were literally fucking, you know, you go up to fucking give them a card thing. They'd fucking take your ticket and fucking hand you a tattoo card, you know, house calls, or I'll come to your fucking hotel.
You know what the crazy thing about that is and because I've had clients sitting in my chair and they were like, oh, I bought my daughter bought a Amazon kit and she's tattooing her friends and blah, blah, blah. And her daughter's all tattooed up and shit. 16-year-old kid. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, you do realize when the parent of the child that your kid has been fucking up, she is gonna fucking kill you, or worse, sue your ass off. Like how we've not, and again, I'm not putting ideas in anybody's head, really, but like,
wink, wink.
Not for nothing, but like, why aren't parents freaking the fuck out, dude? If I can't say the first time I drank at somebody else's house, I came home drunk, my mom laughed. But if I was in a car with someone who didn't drive, shut up. If I was in a car with someone who didn't have a license, and my mom found out about it, I was in trouble.
Sure,
you know what I mean. Like kid stuff is one thing, but something like that, something serious that could happen. And the mom got a phone call, or the parents got a phone call on the other end. How that's not happened more with this is shocking to me. I mean, is this just parenting in the day and age that we live in now?
I think it's people. I don't think it's. I mean, fuck. I mean, again, I told you about my flight on the way over here. Yeah. I'm like, fuck. You know, certain kids should have been swallowed, but I felt bad for the kid. I'm like, that's the parents. Yep. I'm like, fucking. Can you abort the parents? Yeah. Like, fuck, man.
Could you imagine the world we live in?
That would be so great. Yeah. So great.
Having one now.
Wait, I felt like we just went really weird on that one. No, go ahead, man.
Sorry. Having one, you see the very vast difference, and it's the parents. It's not the kids.
Yeah.
That's see, I don't have kids, so I'm like, you guys obviously all have kids. I don't have kids.
It's never the parent. It's never the kid. Kids grow up, do what they're told, and the kids now.
There are some kids that are just born assholes.
There are.
Oh no, there's kids that are just nightmares.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And sometimes it straightens it out, but I had a young gal come in. She was butchered, and it was her and 5 friends at a sleepover. I mean, she had her hands like this, and when she pulled them out, what? They were still bleedy, and I was
like she just did it.
Like 5 weeks before that, and the shit was still
just banged the fuck up. I mean, again, dude, we come from an age where it's like, this is how you do a tattoo. Like these are the precautions you take for bloodborne pathogens. These are the precautions you take for any kind of barriers. These are all the things that we've done since day fucking one. Mm-hmm. Now you basically tell a kid at 15 years old who makes a fucking on her app, orders all the shit that she needs because it's Amazon. How bad can it be? Yeah. And then they're just going to open it up. And granted, I always say it's plug and play.
It is.
But if you don't know what the fuck you're doing, like what the fuck are you doing?
Watching YouTube.
Well, again, how many of them are actually doing that? That's the worst part.
That's the thing.
But again, in our day and age, I mean, you did that. I mean, I knew guys that are phenomenal tattooers that literally had to fucking buy a coil machine and learn how to make a needle and do all the stuff through the tattooing from A to Z, whatever. But that's my point. They did it's like at that point it becomes a hobby that you can make a living at. Sure. I mean, like we're talking guys like build like little race cars and then learn to fucking race them on the weekends and make money at it, whatever. Yeah. It's a similar thing. Like it's a craft. Mm-hmm. These motherfuckers, this is nothing crafty about that. You just bought a bunch of shit and fucking started marking up your body and your friends. That's not a craft.
Well, no, it's called a style.
Oh God, that's the worst part. Oh God, styles.
I actually had someone ask me if I do the ignorant style, and it took me a second to realize what they were saying. And I'm like, the ignorant style, and they're like, yeah, it's like bad tattoos but done good. And
no, they're just bad tattoos.
That's what I said. I said, no, you mean bad tattoos? And he was like, no, but they're like put in good. I'm like, and I just was at a loss. I didn't.
You know what the beauty of a bad tattoo is? There's a good chance it'll fall out.
Well, the ones this kid had, they were laid in nice.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I couldn't believe it. I was like, why would you do that? And what tattooer actually? It was put in nice, but it was like high school desk art.
You know who did it? The walking guy. Because that's how I found out about ignorant style. Fucking Adam, he's like, yeah, they want something in ignorant style. And I'm like, pardon?
Yeah.
Ignorant style? What the fuck is ignorant style? Yeah. He goes, what do you mean you don't?
Dude, I love that like cyber sigilism. I'm like, you mean an outline?
Yeah.
Well, know what the worst part is?
I like it. They're like back in the day, it was like we used to just call it like, like, you know,
Crazy tribal.
But it was called like biker lightning, where you just fucking like, you're like, there you go, you know. But now instead of me saying, yeah, that's fucking $35, I'm like, that's $350.
No, and instead of a wizard with a fucking skull, it's some fucking little manga thing, like
right,
you know,
Pokemon. You know,
yeah, exactly.
The Pokemon's a new wizard. You know,
Well, you know what's funny? I did just recently see somebody on Instagram that does that crap, but it was nice. It was done well. I mean, none of it's going to age well, I think.
Decidualism.
The decidualism, but it was done. It was done really well. But again, there are rules for a fucking reason, and it's like, you know that it's not going to age.
It comes down to fundamentals. You know.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, okay. Again, same thing with the straight up traditional stuff. If you're using a 14 fucking round incorrectly, or even forget about incorrectly, if you're using a 14 round for a tattoo this fucking big and it looks like a fucking 1940s tattoo today,
Yes.
what do you think it's going to look like in 10 fucking years?
They don't care. You know? They need it for the photo and Instagram.
But having said that, there are a handful of guys that can, on certain individuals, pull off a line that will keep that integrity for the fucking next 15, 20 years, okay? So I'm not going to say it doesn't exist, but it's rare and far between, few and far between. So it is frustrating when guys get on the scene and they're fucking acting like, check it out. I'm like, cool, have fun growing old.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I think
it's not my scene.
But I think that's where we're getting angry from, is because the generation now can hide behind the facade of not having to know fundamentals, is because you can just call it whatever. When you become that commercial, when you can just be like, no, I do, you know, traditional's supposed to be made to look like shit. And you're like, no, it's not. Traditional's supposed to be look fucking solid.
The most
but they're
ignorant
like,
way
no,
of putting-
like it's
thinking
supposed to
about
look
traditional.
blown out like an old school Flash thing. You're like, that shit has probably been Xeroxed like fucking 900 times.
You've said it before.
Or there's a reason why it's been done on that, because that was the kind of fucking paper back then. You're like, that's why it looked that way, you know? It's like, because there was only maybe 7 fucking people in the fucking country doing it then. That's why it looked that way, you know? Now it's like, you don't get to tattoo like shit and fucking call it shit and say it's a style and hide behind it.
How many
but
people
like,
do you
yes,
think
we
hide?
can.
How many people? This is gonna light fucking people up. But how many people hide behind being a shit tattooer hide behind traditional tattoos because they're a shit tattooer?
I think look at any fucking high-end fucking influencer.
Not
you know,
all the
fucking-
kind, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah, see, the way it was told to me was that was entry level when I started. If you couldn't do a traditional tattoo, why are you in a shop? You can't be in a shop.
Yeah, but now when do you think it changed to, I can't do a good tattoo, so I'm going to do traditional?
Honestly, 2018 is when I started really seeing that shift, and I saw it at Clips because of how busy it was, right? And, you know, I got a little backed up there, but people didn't want to wait, so they went, you know, they wanted something delicate. I'm going to do it with 0803 or whatever, right? And they, and then, oh, sorry, you know, Jay's out till next week. And okay, they go across the way and get it that big with a, you know, 7 shader or something. So I think that what happened was, in at least by 2017, I blame the cartridges for most of this. The patent Cheyenne had from 2012 to 2017. After that ended and the Chinese started, right, and it just went out. Without those cartridges, without those pens in particular, we wouldn't be here. Because if you still had to know how to tune a machine,
Yeah, that's true. You would have cut some of the chafe off, because at that point there's a little bit more involved in it than,
Absolutely.
like, you have to want.
Trim some of the fat.
wrong tuned wrong tuned coil means shitty tattoo.
Yeah.
If you're really good, you do
Oh, a
it.
good
So
tattooer,
you-
and that
yes.
goes back to what I think I was saying before.
Fundamentals.
It goes
Yes.
back to it. Yeah.
So, but you take one
Or a
of
phone
these
call.
pens. Yeah. You take one of these
I need a
pens.
spring.
You set the depth, and anyone can leave a line.
yeah.
Anyone. Might not age well. Probably won't age well. Might fall out. But for that Instagram photo,
Right?
Well, and again, I think that's part
Can't
of the
see that
problem,
from my
too.
doorstep.
You don't know what the longevity of a person's career is going to really be, because I mean, this is something we've seen doing it 30-something years.
Sure.
People still know who we are. We're not as busy as we once were, but they still recognize the name. How many people? And this is something I've told to a lot of people, and I've offended a lot of people by saying this.
Rarely.
Is my whole thing is just like, man, just keep an eye on your back. Just know full well that this could end tomorrow. And they're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's never going to end tomorrow. Like, what are you talking about? Like, do you honestly think you're that fucking good?
Yeah.
Like, there's not somebody 10 times better than you fucking now?
Right now.
And the only reason you're in the limelight is because the limelight was put it on you because it left one of us?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying that personally, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
the
no,
truth. It went
Oh
from
no, dude,
somebody
I know,
else
I know
to
where my
you.
career's at. I know where my career.
No, my point.
I'm like mini trucking. Like everybody remembers mini trucking. They're like, man, that was those fucking trucks that had the crazy color and those big fucking goofy thick ass tribal lines on the side. I'm like, that was cool then. Like, yeah, you're like, yeah, not now. You know, like that's what I feel like. I'm the old new school guy where it was like, oh man, I used to have all your books. They're in the shed, you know.
Exactly.
Like, yeah,
No, now
along with my career,
I usually get my mentor's mentor at all your books.
Yeah, the guy who I apprenticed under the guy,
check it out.
had their books, yeah,
Just so they could put you on the fucking story, so they'll hopefully repost their fucking story.
I feel like everyone. I feel like those that Mary, like, you know, when people used to actually watch like actual TV before we had 900,000 different fucking, you know, apps you had to download. When it was like that commercial would come on, you know, like when you and your lady are trying to watch a movie or something like that, and it'd be like, you know, hits from the 90s, you know?
Oh, yeah, the CDs.
Yeah, you know, like, opinion. I was like, I feel like that's where I need to start advertising. You're like, dude, Jimmy Litwalk still tattoos, you know?
Pretty much. That's the first part.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, now that I'm going to cry inside. So come on, tell us some more about you, man.
I know. Okay, so let's. When did you make the? We'll get to the technical side of things because we pretty much glossed over the fact that you're pretty much a traditional street shop guy. Do whatever comes in the door.
Whatever comes in the door. Scotty back to Scotty when all I was doing was traditional. You know, whatever was on the walls, whatever I got told, and names. He said, Jay, you have to be able to do every single thing that comes through the door. Everything. He said, and if you can wind up doing portraits, you'll be all right. That's what he said, and I worked hard at it, and I know. And then Cholo guy taught me some fine line. It's all covered up now, but once I learned that got me more into the machine dynamics and being able to, you know, just perfect what I was doing. And then I got really hurt in 2010 on a bike. And that put me out for almost 2 years.
Oh, shit, really?
Oh, yeah, it was bad. And infection, and that made me a germaphobe, so. But, yeah, when I came back to it, the jump that I saw, like, from 2010 to 2012 was, like after 9/11. It was, you know, 2008 and 9. The winters were always slower, but, man, it was busy then. And then all the TV shows, and everybody was coming in being a tattooer and whatnot, and then when I came back out of being hurt in 2012, man, it was, at least in Jersey, it was bad. Well,
I think that's when you had a ton of shops opening up, and even though, like, everybody keeps saying it's like, oh, there's more people getting tattooed today than there are tattooers. I'm like, sorta. You know what I mean? It's like
I think
it really
we
is
crossed
sorta.
that point. Actually, now definitely. I think 3 years ago, I think that's when they converged. The amount of people getting tattooed and the amount of tattooers. That's why everybody was busy. Yeah. Everybody, right? Yeah. But now, just like we saw after the TV wave, people start coming down. You got to wait for the next group of kids to come up. Yeah. And the problem with the next group of kids, as I've seen it, is they're either getting covered or nothing.
I was going to say they're pussies, but
they're not. I can't believe it. 30% is maybe 30% are getting tattooed, but they're getting back pieces and sleeves. And
there's a group out there, and again, there's only so many artists out there for that style of work. You know what I mean? You can say it's like, you're just not looking for it. Go fuck yourself, dude. The more guys I hear, and we just heard it today. They're just guys saying you're being lazy because you're not fucking going out there and getting it. I'm like, dude, I'm looking on your influencer page. There's 4 fucking tattoos. Yeah. The same tattoo, which, by the way, when you popped up on my feed 7 months ago, is still the featured tattoo on. And I don't mean featured. I mean, he's still showing video of him doing the tattoo 7 months later. And I'm like, so how fucking busy are you, dude? Like, you're making all kind of content. I'm like, I'm tattooing. I have to get people in here to take a photo or a fucking video of me tattooing. Because I'm doing it. Yeah. Like, I'm not spending time fucking making reels. Yeah. Like, I want a tattoo.
If it takes 30 minutes to make a reel and you can put out 2 of them a day, and I don't know how long it really takes. It takes me an hour, so I never do it.
Yeah, I'm sure there are people that are better.
I mean, that one kid, Matthew Inked from New York, he's funny, man. When he makes them like that, it's amazing, you know?
I mean, that's an art form in itself.
It really is.
But I think that's kind of like again, we fucking hate it. It's like saying that rotaries, we bag on it. We're like, you have to understand that is a part of the trade now. And then you look at social media. Social media is a part of the trade now.
Sure.
Now we look at it like, as fucked up as it's going to sound, is like making these kind of fucking commercial fucking reels off of these fucking apps is a part of the industry now. But it's like we're getting away from the tattooing isn't the focal point no more.
Yeah.
It no longer, like, no one cares. It's like, with the right lighting and fucking app, your tattoo's going to look great.
So now, I've seen a shift away from that. I said this a few years ago when I saw certain people getting busier than they should have been, right?
And they're still that way. Some of them.
I don't...
I think it depends on what you were saying before. It depends on the era.
Yeah.
I think it depends on, I think it depends on what you did through Corona, these new tattooers, because of the amount of money that was out there, how you treated your clients, what you treated them like, and there's a lot of factors there. But I said somewhere, and this is 21, 22, I said somewhere between 2025 and 2028, we're going to see the wave, guys who actually know what they're doing. We're going to see that wave where all these people start coming in with this work that they got from subpar people, and they're going to want it fixed or covered.
Oh, it can't happen fast enough. I agree with you there.
It's going to. And then what I've seen is all of these people, who's not all, but if you started on the pen and you don't have a solid fundamental of where that ink's got to go, okay? I am watching a very non-linear degradation of the tattoo. So day one, it looks great. Month one, it's all right, looks good, Year one, it's not that bad. Then year two, it's not that bad. But then somewhere between year 2 and year 4, holy hell, it's like a cliff.
The funny thing is, I'm glad you're saying this, and this is something I've never really brought up, but Jay Kelly from Pulse, actually, we brought this up because he's back to coils as well.
Okay.
And again, I'm bouncing between the two, but 8 times out of 10, I'm tattooing with I'm lining with coils.
Absolutely.
I'm still shading.
Hey, the rotary's got its place.
I'd say probably more than 50% of the time I'm shading and coloring with a pen.
Okay.
But Jay said the same thing. He's like, yeah, dude, I'm seeing some of these tattoos come back that I did with the pen or that I did with the rotary, and I'm like,
I can show specific examples.
Well, but here's the thing, though, and having said that, and again, I can't say it so much with the pen because I've only been using the pen for a few years. It's only been maybe 3 or 4 years. Before that, it was traditional rotaries, like linear,
linear drive,
bar drive,
direct drive rotaries. Yeah. Those aged fairly well.
Yes.
I mean, again, I can show you stuff I did in 2009.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So for me,
but you have fundamentals.
Oh, good point. Yeah, that's a good way to. That's a very good point to do it. Because my biggest curve was this ain't a coil.
No.
And immediately, whoa, like that's
Joe's
a
pretty
fucking
heavy-handed
hammer.
anyway. Like his nickname when he started.
All right, first of all,
this
this cocksucker was on his belly last night.
doesn't even matter. Like Joe does that DNA tattooing. Like when your body's dug up by aliens from fucking 500 fucking billion years from now, Joe's tattoos are still going to be in the fucking bone.
This cocksucker was on his belly last night, arm behind his back,
fucking pin up
and going.
Like,
God, he's
shit.
like,
yeah.
I'm so glad you're a light hit. So glad you're a light hit. I'm just like, dude, for a fucking 2.5 minute tattoo.
Look,
out the gate, there
was no what? I fucking complimented you, fucking asshead. I was gonna give you a compliment when there's no fucking cameras on. I want to fucking be fucking on record and saying that you fucking got a light hand. You're fast. It hurts, but you're fucking efficient and quick with the way you tattoo.
That's exactly it.
Yeah,
that's what you gotta be.
But when you watch Joe tattoo, sometimes it's like watching a jet ski. There's a fucking ink rooster tail jipping out of the fucking back of that thing, dude. Like you race bikes, like you fucking that fresh dirt that's fucking just been raked in front of it. You hit it, and it's like that fucking thing, rooster sprays. That's like watching Joe fucking when he's got his liner on. And he's like, that shit looks like he's harpooning a fucking like a goddamn baby seal. This fucking long where he's like coming in, and you're like, and you're like, you look at the bottom of the fucking bed, and the needle's coming out, and he's like, whatever. You're like, but it's solid. And you're like, yeah, my fucking arm's in half.
But I agree, and that's what Jay Kelly made a good point in the sense that he's seeing stuff come back inside of 2 years.
Yeah,
and he's just like, I'm just not happy.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. Most people, how many? For me, when a client comes in with a tattoo that's 9, 10 years old, 15 years old, 20 years old, even, and you get to see that tattoo photograph, I'll put them up unfiltered anything because I want people to see what is to be expected. Some look better than others. You know what I mean? And again, one of the reasons I have an issue with some of the color realism, the black and gray realism, is because you're going to get maybe half the life expectancy of that. And I'm not going to say that the rest of it's going to be bad. You know what I mean? But when people ask me about my forearm, this thing is almost 30 years old. You know what I mean? I could have this redone, but part of me loves the idea that when people go, wow, your arm is really cool. And I'm like, yeah, I got this back in 97. And they look at you like, what? Really?
Yeah.
And they're blown away by that. Like, so part of me would love new arms, like new forearms, but the other part of me is like, yeah, dude, if I could tell people that Cap Zumsky did this on me fucking back in 97,
Wow.
that to me is that's a bragging.
You can't fake that.
Exactly. And that's why I think that when you show your tattoos from way back in the day, and you know the difference between a coil and
what holds
and
up
a
over
rotary
time,
and what holds better, why you didn't use certain pigments because of what they did over time.
Yep.
You didn't follow the trends. You made your own fucking way because at the end of the day, at the end of the decade, you can say, you happy now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
I mean,
get
granted, you
more
had to
work.
live for fucking 5 years defending a
Of
tattoo
course.
that you didn't
Of course.
necessarily care for because... But now you got a better tattoo than the guy who was following the trends.
Yep. I can get more work off of my 4 and 5 year old work than I do off of my new stuff, you know? And they say, whoa, and then they come in, why didn't mine heal like that? And
Well, speaking of like machines and stuff, like you're a machine builder as well. Do you feel like is that something that you got into afterward because you were a welder, or you had that kind of background history, or did you find the way where you just wanted to know about machines is what really got you into building machines?
building bikes since I was 9. Just love anything with a motor, and electromagnets are really cool. But
Just a craftsman, yeah.
It all started, honestly, with the Strongman, Unimax Strongman. That motherfucker was heavy. That thing was so heavy. Big 10 wraps, 516 cores, the base. It was just
I remember
so
that shit. We
heavy.
used to talk about like the National Deluxe, where it was like, dude, this is like, it's like 4.9 ounces. You know,
Yeah.
like this one's like this small, and he's like 3. It's like no one gave a fuck, man. It's because we still had those little bitty tiny ass pins.
The
It's like,
little
why am I
tubes,
fucking? I look like a velociraptor
Yeah.
with fucking gnarled up fucking fingers trying to hold that
amazes me
shit.
that guys had careers super long using those little tiny fucking things.
Oh, yeah.
Well, but now I don't want to get off subject. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Anyway, so it was all about, and because I had the welding background, I was able to look at this machine. I still have one that I made, I don't even know how many years ago. It's a Gen 1. It doesn't have the little swinger vise on it. It's actually got the screw, and I just welded it in place and made my own swing gate.
Nice.
And shaved it all out. I learned with that machine that you got to put a shelf support on some things, but whatever.
Yeah, well, somewhere.
You got to learn somewhere. But that thing ran great, and I pulled all that weight out of it, shaped it nice, and that's where it started. But then
So from tinkering, it wasn't. You didn't sit down with somebody.
I finally, I made some machine friends in the last, 7-8 years, right? I had Cuban make me a custom one a while back. That ended up going to Big Joel because I wanted this Robbie Saint single coil, you know what I mean? So, God rest Big Joel too. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
I was hunting for this one thing for years and years and years and years. And I switched to plastic tubes in 08 or 09.
I'm sure that made a bunch of different changes in the way you did things. Yeah,
Huge
because that
difference.
did for me.
Yeah. So
That's why I think for me the switch to rotaries was a bit easier.
Well, that's what everybody said, right? Everybody said if you're going from plastic tubes to the rotary, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
The rotary's so much easier,
Yeah.
right? But if you go from metal to a rotary, you're like, oh God,
Oh, it's
drastic difference,
That was
right?
me. Again, Joe tried to get me to fucking use a rotary for so long. I was like, fuck that thing. Fuck, that sewing machine piece of shit thing. And it sucked. I was so anti everything. And Ray was a nice guy, and I know Frank when he had his machines that Tom Renshaw was using. It just wasn't something I was like, no, they got loyal to the coil, But again, I was just, bullheaded in my own way to not want to know about I didn't think they were going to stick around, it was going to be like a thing. But we were in Brazil and, over there.
I love this fucking story. Yeah, keep going. Bring it.
I fucking hate you, man. Anyway, so again, it was the same thing of like, I had, raised and cut my teeth everything on coils. Like everything we were taught about that, I was taught how to fucking, really hard. Like my apprenticeship was I am blessed and grateful for all the shit stuff that they did to me back then. It just made me really appreciate it. It was like kind of that karate thing, like, like, why am I doing this? Well, to make you a better tattooer. You didn't really understand. And later on, you're like, oh, okay, now I get it.
10 years later, you're like,
It made sense now,
that's why you did that.
Like, but did you really have to set me on fire to make me learn that lesson? Which happened, but I understood. I was so not wanting it, and he's just we're in this fucking this like almost like an abandoned mall type thing where we're in this little fucking box in Brazil in Sorocaba.
It's literally like it looks like a fucking airplane hangar.
It looked like it looked like an airplane.
These big fans blowing air.
The fucking electricity was fucking coming in by a fucking cord from a telephone wire.
It
was cool though. I mean, we were laughing about it, you know. And they put me and Joe in this fucking like a kennel. It was like this fucking
glass walls.
This like glass walls
couldn't get in.
with a fucking.
Crazy.
But again, we didn't have no air in it, and it's fucking. As soon as you locked it in,
they put an air conditioner in it.
Didn't work.
But the air conditioner was blowing hot air.
It wasn't.
It must have been probably like 78 degrees.
Okay.
But in the main room, it was probably like 98 degrees.
Oh. Yeah.
Well, not 90. It was not hot, but it was in like the upper 80s.
Yeah, it was brutal.
And unless you were standing in front of a fan, it was hot.
It was fucking
so
hot.
you would go into our room
Yeah.
and it'd be a little bit cooler, but
Yeah,
within 5 minutes, you're just like, oh my god.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you walk outside and you'd be like, oh Jesus, it's hot.
And that was the thing about like with if anyone has ever traveled when you use coils, you know that even going to different states, like you have to retune your coils different because of the electricity
Especially
and
like
the place.
Brazil where everything is fucking.
Well, then you go there and everything's like 220 and everything else, and then everything's. You know, I mean, it's part of a third world country. Not saying that it's all bad, but there's like areas that you go into. You're like, you know, taking a shower and you look up and there's exposed wires. You're like, I'm fucking gonna fry in this goddamn thing, you know. But that's just how it is. So and we go in this fucking. They had us in this glass box, and it was fucking. I'm like, God, I'm fucking dying in here. And dude, my machine is like, it fucking sounds like I'm fucking like a 2-stroke dying. You know, like it's fucking fucked. And fucking Joe's are like. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, fuck you. And he's like,
I'm using neotats and bishops.
Yeah, he's fucking, and dude, his bishops and neotats are just fucking running like butter. And I'm over here and I'm like, God damn it, like fucking smacking on a thing, you know? And it's just like, I'm like, why is this fucking fluctuating? I'm like, did I blow a capacitor? Like, did I sever a wire traveling over here? Like, what the fuck is going on? It's the electricity's fucking fluctuating, but it's just fucking, you know, it's got a thing. And it's
like, fine. I don't know
he's like, what's going on over there? And I'm like, dude, you motherfucker, you know, like I'm just like angry about it.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, we're in a fucking heat box.
Yeah.
And it's like sweating up, like you just felt like you're in a shower tattooing. Isn't fucking helping, you know, like you're leaning over and you got like sweat dripping down. You're like, I gotta be the most dirtiest motherfucker right now, just leaking everywhere, you know, and trying to tattoo, and my fucking machine goes out, and I'm like, I got fucking at least another hour on this goddamn fucking tattoo, and then Joe just goes up and goes, and every bit of me, I was like, don't do it, don't do it, don't just fucking hand poke this fucking tattoo, and I'm like, God damn it, I'm like, can I use your machine?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. He's like, oh yeah. Fucking set this fucking thing up, and it ran so good, and I was like, God damn it, I'm not gonna tell him I fucking like this thing. I'm like, I can't. But and it was like it fucking ran good, you know. I think you gave me the neotat, right?
It was a neotat or a bishop.
It was a neotat, yeah. I think because the weekend that
it was one of the blocky ones.
The old school ones, the one that looked like the toaster oven.
Sure.
Yeah.
This is back in like this would have been back in 2010.
Okay.
Oh, earlier than that, I think.
No, because we had the first trip we went there was 98, and then we went back again in 2000. I think it was 2010 because I had just started to lose a little bit of weight.
I forget what it was because we got home, and then the week after we got home, we did Toronto.
Yeah. And
in Toronto, Ray was there, and this fuckhead tells Ray the story about what happened in there. So Ray comes by, and he comes over and he puts like a machine down front and goes, "Hey, you want to try that?" And I was like, "No." But in my head, I'm grabbing him like, no. Like I wanted it, you know. I'm like, God damn it, I didn't want to say it, but I was like, I didn't want to say I would like it as much. Yeah.
It was funny because that trip in Brazil, not a lot of people were doing anything with rotaries at all. If they were getting rotaries,
people did not understand. So people were like looking at them, they're like, what the fuck is that thing?
So I tattooed a handful of tattooers, and at the convention,
you sold a bunch of them, didn't you?
I sold them all. Like I called up Franco and Ray, and I'm like, hey man, can you do me a favor? Like I'm flying home in like 2 days.
Sure.
I'm like, can you ship me 3 machines? And Franco was like, what the fuck what do you mean? You just bought 3 machines.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, dude, I just sold them. He's like, what do you mean you sold them? I'm like, dude, I'm sitting here. People are watching me tattoo. There are other tattooers.
Sure.
They can't get your gear here.
Yeah.
Did more
So I fucking sold it. No, that would have been, no.
Oh, Jack.
We didn't, yeah. So I literally I sold the machines. One guy, my last guy, I was tattooing. And he's like, oh, can I buy those machines off of you when you're done? And this is my last 2 machines. And I'm like, dude, I got another tattoo after you. And he's like, well, what about after that? I'm like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, right.
And I didn't.
But that was the thing. Is like when you look at coils, you're like, I got fucking coils. I'm like, these are never fucking leaving my side.
Yeah.
And I look at rotors and I'm like, I couldn't give a shit. Like they run good, but I'm like,
no soul.
Well, it's
okay. It's not that it does. You fucking said it because what?
It's not that they don't have a soul. It's just, to me, I look at one. It's a machine. It's like a fucking car.
It's a tool.
It is like you have like a love for a car, a love for a motorcycle. There's like a thing that like you put a lot of thing in it to where like you've tuned that thing to operate the way you tattoo. Yes. With a rotary, you have to change the way you tattoo to the way it operates. So it's like, yeah, this is a fucking muscle car or a fucking a fucking dope ass fucking custom made chopper.
Yeah.
This is a fucking Tesla electronic fucking car. Like, who the fuck cares?
It's got a
like, no one's ever looked at a fucking Tesla and been like, dude, that's getting buried with me.
Yeah, no.
Like, the guy who made it was like, fuck this, and shot it into outer space. Like, that's how much he fucking gave a fuck about that car. Like, the guy who fucking made the Mach 1 is like, no, number one is going home.
Yeah.
Send the fucking rest down the line. Like, he's like, no, this is my baby. So you have machines that are like, they have like there's a connection to them because you fucked with it up. You got scars on your fucking thumbs and fingers and fucking wire snipped and everything. With the fucking rotor, you're like, it's a production made thing. You're
I'm
like,
glad.
no one really
I'm
cares.
glad this conversation came up naturally. So again, the owner of this said company got mad because when I was talking about Terrell, I'm not. Fuck that. No, because he said it and I agree with it.
There's no soul.
I said the same thing. I'm like, it's a great tool.
Great tool.
And that's it. I'm not going to knock it for what it is. Do I think they're overpriced? Fuck yes, I do. And again, I don't think it was because they thought that they were worth that much money. I think a company in Germany said that was. Yeah. And that's what everybody did. Now everybody's telling me that Germany's coming down in their prices. So now what happens when you've been buying a machine for $1,200? I think you see that now.
It's like when you're finding people now that are using rotaries and that style of machine to where they're like, instead of spending the $800 to fucking $1,600 on a rotary, where people are like, oh, what machine are you using? Like, oh, it's this fucking knockoff one that I got off of fucking Amazon. And we're like, what'd you pay for it? $65.
Yeah.
You're like, $65? How long you had it? And you're like, a year and a half.
So I've taken apart a couple just to.
This is a good way to kind of roll into. Yeah, so, yeah, please.
They're all the same. Most of them are all the same.
I think the only difference I ever saw was, and this is going back many, many years ago, back in probably 2009, 2008. 2010. Lal Hardy sent me a couple of Neo tattoo cards, and they were plastic bodies. They were garbage. But I'm like, I'm going to see if I can fucking tattoo this thing. The machine, I think he said it cost him £1.
Yeah.
Like $2.
Yeah.
So he sends me.
Remember when there was that certain company out of New York when you bought more than fucking $10 of stuff?
They would just send you a machine.
Yeah,
they just send you a machine.
Yeah, and you're like, it's a paperweight.
I did one machine.
That's what you handed the apprentice to like draw with. You like you
took
the tube out, you put a pencil and taped it. I'm like, here.
So I did
right with that shit. Build your fucking pussy hands up to fucking get muscles.
This was cheaper than the D batteries, bro.
I did a big ass.
Wrapping the fucking batteries around the pencil, trying to draw. Yeah,
I did a big ass panther head with one for the first one.
Yeah.
Second tattoo, it stopped working halfway through, and I'm like, fuck. So I put it aside, finished the tattoo, took it apart. The only difference on those machines was the quality of the quality of the equipment that was used to make it. The wire was so fucking thin, it was nearly translucent. And I'm like, and it was just a split wire. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't even going to fix it because I'm like, I just wanted to see how far I can get with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, with that $1 machine, that $2 machine, I made $600.
Exactly.
So you sit there and you look at, and that's how I look at rotaries. I'm not knocking them; they're great for what they do.
They are great.
But the fact of the matter is, it's a good tool, but it is a soulless tool. It does not compare to the fucking coil machines that I've been collecting since '99, since '93. And that's the whole point.
I understand Rick where he was coming from, saying that. It's not taking a shot at like saying it doesn't have a soul. It's like I've watched artists use fucking handmade prison style fucking guitar string fucking things that look amazing, and then I've watched fucking guys fucking take these $1,200 machines and be like, did you have a seizure when you were fucking tattooing this thing? Like, sorry you weren't wearing the right shirt or you didn't have the fucking right fucking music on, like. For whatever reason, it's like, dude, this fucking tattoo looks like shit. Not having the, like you bought the best fucking name brand fucking rotary. You bought the best name brand fucking ink. You bought all the fucking cool little things.
Sure.
You put a fucking, a toilet paper size wrap fucking of Coflex around it to fucking act like you're tattooed with a fucking, a log for fucking, a campfire, and you still didn't fucking pull it off.
All right.
So I understand, like, where it's like you can be like, he could be taking a shot at it, but you're like, again, when I look at it, like,
it wasn't even meant as a shot.
With a machine,
a machine
is tuned to the way you operate. It is fixed to the way you operate as an artist. When you get a coil, and I understand there's a difference between like a hybrid and an actual rotary.
Well, even
but when you get that rotary,
it's
still kind of the same
it's
schematics.
the same as a rotary. I don't care.
So let's go into that.
Hold on, but so like, but with the rotaries, you have to completely change to the way it operates.
Yes.
Some people are just fucking juggernauts that are, no matter what, they're just fucking amazing artists. Like whatever the fuck you can hand them, it's just in their DNA. They're fucking creative as fuck. And he's found people out there that are like that. Like he's found great artists that have gotten in the industry are good.
That's a testament to tattooers in general. There was a reason why when the Pneuma came on the scene, because I will claim that the Pneuma is responsible for bringing back rotary machines, because Pneuma was put in the hands of guys like Mike DeVries.
Yeah, I understand that the rotaries came out beforehand, but I think with Carson and those guys, because of the quality of work that they did and who they were, and his knowledge of that stuff, and I think that was the rocket fuel that definitely launched.
Color realism is making a name for itself. That, like, Biomech was making a name for itself. It was the brand new thing, and everybody felt in order to be on that fucking train, they needed to use that equipment. So good on them for doing that. It took a lot less time for it to fucking fall off than I thought.
I think it was like 4 conventions before everyone realized, like, you're blowing the fucking power, and I can't stand that goddamn noise.
Yeah.
Oh, the Pneuma.
So let's get away from that. But again, I put that on the map as being the reason why rotaries kind of made the fast comeback that it did.
Well, so my logical argument for soul versus soulless is exactly what you said. When you tune a coil for your hand, that thing's unique. To replicate that perfectly, almost impossible.
Yeah.
Even with the hybrids, when I get them, they're all different. Every single one of them.
Where are you getting them from?
Source overseas. Okay. And I get them... I did.
You basically saying what we were just talking about.
So that's exactly it. When I did have Dan make me a custom one in 2018, and I was trying to go something a little more fine line, a little bit less crack to it, and I still wound up using a 15 mag on it, and I had sent them some, hey, maybe we could do this, maybe we could do that. Never materialized, and it wasn't for me.
That's how I feel about Coopens. I think that they're just hammers.
They are, but you can. There is a way.
You can get it out of it.
I can get them up. I'll show you. Anyway, point is, there
You
is.
just made him fucking happy now.
Yeah, there. You can make anything do what you want it to do, but you can't do that with a rotary. A rotary is an electric motor. The only thing it can do is one function. You can be like Shag and some of the other guys that do one pole, so it has a one power throw, or most of them are just twin power, so there's always a power stroke, right? It can only operate that way, and my biggest reason for why I don't like them is the mechanical aspect of the needle. Coil throws it in at 200 miles an hour, round numbers, throws it in at 200, rips it out at 400, so that way that skin snaps shut behind it. Rotary puts it in at 200, brings it out at 200. So that's where I think we're seeing this non-linear degradation. There's so much ink sitting like this in the skin instead of like this, that a few years later it just
dissipates. Yeah.
And it happens quickly. Yeah, because it's all sitting up so high because the skin didn't snap shut behind it.
It's gonna be interesting.
So with your, I mean, we always got weird comments anyway. With your coils and stuff like that, do you have like a name for your company, or do you have like no? It's just if anybody wants.
I haven't actually sold a coil. I only ever trade them to people I respect.
Well, so if anybody doesn't know, I put all your information in the bottom. So if anybody is interested in picking up any of your stuff, it's going to be there. So, so when you build these, when you make remake these hybrids, I mean, would you say remake them? You're not retuning them. How much are you changing?
Retuning them.
So you're just retuning. So you're changing springs and you're changing.
Sometimes I change the springs. Depends on what we're trying to do. There's actually 4 springs on these things, so you have quite a bit to work with. There's a model that only has 3 springs. I gave you one of those, and using either of those, you can get a completely different hit profile too.
Right. So that's a big deal. That's one of the reasons. Like I said, the 2 times I used the Kubins, I just felt they they were just fucking hammered.
Well, that's the problem with it.
I don't tattoo like
Well, and then
have you
the
seen-
ones that I've used by like Paulo, where he's got one that's in
You can change the springs on
It's
those.
in my opinion, it's kind of again, it's a hybrid of a hybrid to where Paulo made a machine that he made two of them. One is called the Tank, and the other one's called the Nano.
The Nano is the more adjustable.
The Nano one has a little bit more adjustment to it, to where it's like I think it's more versatile, to where you can change out a lot of. He's made it operational to where you can make it operate for smaller needle
It's the
groupings.
closest
up
I've
to it.
ever. It's the closest I've ever come to using a coil like rotary. Hey everybody, sorry about that. We had a bit of a fuck up. I'm gonna try to edit that down so you may not see it, but there might be.
If not, then you're gonna just have to deal
so
with
the sound might be a bit different. So
Yeah.
that's all I'm gonna say. So we left off with okay. So you're fucking with these hybrids.
The
Sorry.
hybrids, like I said, when I did with Dan, it was just too hard. You look at the way people. My main goal as a builder is to build something you like. I don't want to send you a machine I like unless you ask me specifically. I want what you use. No, I want to know how fast. My ideal thing is watch you tattoo something you like for a little while. Then I can really make something that you want. You're like, I like this one, but I want it a little faster, right? So that's what I do like about these. I'm not taking apart $1,000 machine. I'm just not doing it.
Right.
So I'm not going to buy one from Dan and then be like, or even Workhorse. I'm not buying a $1,000 machine, screwing with it, and having no chance at a warranty.
Right.
Not happening.
Well, because nowadays all the stuff is coming from overseas anyway, so it's like you're not, and when I mean overseas,
I'm
I
not
mean
going to
China.
comment on I call them clones. I don't call them knockoffs because I've seen knockoffs, and these are. I've mic'd a few things, man. If they are copies.
Well, I know a handful of people that used I guess clones or not what they thought were knockoffs, and they thought they were using the real thing until a year later, and they're just like, "What do you mean?" And they can't believe they've been using a knockoff.
That's what I'm saying. These ones are. There's literally a 0.0026 difference on the contacts and one number on the stamping. That's different. That's it.
Wow.
I found no other differences. So I don't know. I'm not. They are famous for reverse engineering stuff, but these are good.
Well, but I think that's been the case from the beginning, and some of them may not have been reverse engineered. Some of them might have just been built there, and then they're just being fabricated here, put together here.
The timing is awfully suspect about when this particular model got very big here, and then almost exactly 5 years later, the knockoff comes out. That's the same exact thing that happened with one of the Cheyenne pens, and I know the way they do it is it's 1 to 5 year.
For the patents to
for the
end
patent,
or
or the contract to be over.
The contract, we'll make it for you for 5 years, but then when it's over, we get the.
Well, I think that's what put a lot of those companies on blast, because word got out. It wasn't a matter, because I mean at that point anybody can do it, so why would they not? You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was a lot of that, like, oh, these are American made, and they're like, no, they're American assembled.
American assembled.
And again, I'm not knocking anybody for doing what they do. I mean, that's just the way it comes. Someone was saying today, why is it cheaper to get something? Oh, what's his name from Electrum? Made the comment. He's like, why is it so much cheaper to do stuff in China? I'm like, because they don't have EPA. They don't have issues with. I mean, a lot of the raw materials comes from there. They don't give a fuck about the people putting the shit together. It's the reason why Adidas and Nike get their shit made there. You know what I mean? They can't do it here. They just
we don't have those certain kind of farms or everything else.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
I tell
dealing
you,
with fucking unions and fucking all kinds of fucking extra stuff.
everybody thinks their cartridges are made on some fancy industrial.
Oh god, how many times I fucking listened to a guy fucking come in on one of these fucking tattoo fucking supply buses, you know, and again, we have some great people in our area that they come by and they're just good people. And there's some that just stop by out of the fucking blue and be like, oh, we make our own cartridges. And I look at them and go, no, the fuck you don't. No. I'm like, you might have paid to have your logo put on that box, but that's as far as your hands have been in that fucking water.
That's it.
You know, no, I think that's something that I think the only thing that's kept the lid on that box for as long as it is the ignorance of tattooers buying this shit. Is the fact that they don't really care. All they know is it comes out of a box. They can plug it into the fucking wall and it works.
That's it.
I think that's the problem. They really don't give a shit where their stuff comes from. And that's been one of the issues with what's happening with pigment. And it takes the government to come down and bring the hammer down on us. And that's a scary thing. And that's why I think more people should be involved and know where stuff is coming from for no other reason than to not have the man come down here and say, you can't use this and this is why.
Yeah.
You should be able to say, well, fuck you because I know better.
That's right.
And now you're lying to me. Nobody can say that. Nobody can say what they think is right and wrong because they don't know.
There's some great people out there, I'm sure you know, doing great things.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So if when this downturn takes out a lot of the fakers, if the real ones of us and the youngs that were like, hey, you're cool, if we keep them and turn our backs on the big guys, the guys who aren't just fakers and takers, they've come into this.
They've made their money. They could conceivably walk away and not give a shit.
Fine. So walk away, guys. And if they're not going to, we say collectively, no, we're only going to buy the pigment from the guy making it in the garage that he went through the effort, like Luna, who went through the effort to do all the stuff to make.
Well, that's the thing. That's why they need to be protected. And and again, you also need some of these bigger guys because there's been a lot of stuff happening where people are trying to do that. Hey, don't use these companies. Use these companies. But even those guys are, they're at risk because these are all their friends. Like they came up together.
Sure.
But those guys took the money.
I think we're going to get down to a different road. Like I feel like this conversation.
No. Now we're going down politics.
So how about before we take this and make this a 2-part fucking episode?
So you are capable. So my what I wanted to know for me personally is your machines are capable from not just being a hammer.
Yes.
You can make a chisel. You can make you can do
I can
stuff
give
that
you with
is
one machine that you can. How I've got it roughly figured out here is I've never really tried a single needle with it, but I can get you to an 0803 to about an 11 with the same machine as far as liners go, just with a flip of a switch.
Nice.
And then I can get you a very soft, like a Mickey soft shader that'll run 5 mag to like 21. And
just that in itself alone, because we were taught when Black and Gray was there, it's like using the cutback Mickeys was like, that was like one of the staple ones of like just the way that it operated was probably one of the most smoothest machines to use for like Black and Gray back then.
Yeah. For me personally, like when I set up, like I've had people, rag on me, but like I set up 2-3 liners, I set up 2-3 shaders. Yeah. You know what I mean? On average 2 and 2, but liners, like that's kind of where my tricks are. So I like a tight 3, I like a fucking tight 7, and I like a loose 9. Like I want.
Well, that's the good
3.
thing about like when I'm happier now.
But I
wouldn't gone back to using coils for your lining because I can say like when you started using rotary style specifically, I think a lot of like the fine line stuff that we really separated those elements because like in my opinion, the artwork is basically changed. But when you look at like that neo trad stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, to me, you were doing that shit long before any of these motherfuckers. Artistic-wise, if I take the drawing and change it, but when you look at how you've done it, where it has a bold outside line and these fine lines on the inside, that's every fucking neo-trad thing. It's like a big fat 14 round with a single needle fucking highlight cheek face or a fucking button on the nose. Like, you were doing that shit years ago. Yeah. It's just the art, the subject matter is the only thing that changed. I get it. The same thing why I tell people, like, my style of tattooing is no different than fucking American traditional. It's just a big fat bold outline, but I use black and gray smooth color on the inside. I don't fucking leave skin break like American traditional. I use wall to wall. But the hell of it is the holdup of the foundation is just a big ass fucking bold line that I want it to look more like a sticker. When you look at like a American traditional tattoo from across the room, you can fucking see what it is.
Well, and that's why I feel like,
and I think that's what yours was. Is when you look at the outside is that way, but you have so much more detail on the inside. It really added that like, that modern day Vargas type, that old world painting style where it's like you had more detail oomph to it, to where. People call you like a new school artist. I'm like, but Joe really isn't new school. No, his style was new school, but you had a more elevated,
like illustrated
foundation of your lining.
I think like even with the pen machines I do use, I have one for lining, one for shading because they set up differently. That's the one nice thing about the Ultra Pen from Electric is the fact that you can't change the stroke, but you can change the give on that. And again, that's a pen machine. That hits a lot like a coil. Okay. What hurts it is that you're using cartridges. You know what I mean? And that's a big deal. For me personally, it's a big deal. So for shading and stuff, I have no problems. But for lining, I'm a bit more picky. I'll still use it occasionally, but if I'm going to do something where my line work it relies heavily on my line work, then I'm using fucking coils, or I'm going to use the transverse nanos because those have that, or the tanks. But again, I would love to find
Those are
something.
needle on bar.
Those are needles on bar. Because
So
I
I
think
think
needles on
that's
bar, I just like that I can get a standard 5 or I can get a tight 5.
Yeah.
I'm not stuck with one.
Sure.
And that's a big deal.
I think it's just because it's one moving part.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not.
Yeah, you've got an A bar, you've got the armature, and you've got the tips.
That's it.
There's no play in between that, and I think that's something that machine builders and stuff. I mean, it's surprising because I can't cut my own springs if I can figure this out for myself. But the fact of the matter is, it's someone who does that for a living that's going to know the difference between the fact that you've got 3 points, at that point. 4
Well,
points.
so as a machine builder and stuff like that, do you feel like people who are making these style machines, because again, when it comes to coils, again, the coil is adjusted to the way, tuned to the way you operate. Now, and this is me personally, I know that the reason why I use rotaries is just honestly out of sheer laziness. Yeah, not even convenience. I'm fucking lazy. It's where I'll set up, normally when I'm using coils, I'll set up a shit ton of fucking machines because it's like I have, my, 3 to 5 or 7, and I have my 9 to, 11 to 14, and then a 14 to like an 18, liner. And then it's like my shaders is 9 mag, 13 mag, and if I do background, then it's like a 15 or a 17, and I'll set those all up. And a lot of times it's like, I might even only fucking pick the one thing up for like a little spot, where out of a fucking a rotary, I'm just like, just fucking check the
You'll set up 8
out.
fucking
But
cartridges.
But the thing is a lot of times I think certain rotaries get put down. It's like that machine, that actual machine is a nice running rotary, but you're using shit ass fucking cartridges.
Of course.
And so it's like if you have half of one and half of the other, it's like, it might not even run the same. So like, is there like certain things that certain companies would be like, hey, you know what? These are the brands that we recommend using for our product.
There are lots of things that they could do to make that,
but I think that would help out with people who are trying to just solely defend only pen style machines. Is like, yeah, but with this here is the reason why we still love using this because again, this is like designed and structured for the way each artist is done. Where it's like, okay, there's nothing wrong with efficiency. As we know, like with time and doubt nowadays, is like, time does make a difference. Not coming in an hour and a half earlier to set up fucking 5 machines, or fucking when you get to a convention or a new state or a new fucking shop where you're guest spotting, you literally have to tune your machines again to the fucking electricity running on that power. Whereas like a pen, it's like it's fucking on or off. It works or it's broke. There's no in between. It's a light switch, But what fluctuates in the changing is you can use 3 different style of fucking cartridges, and and each one can be something different because of like a membrane inside, or like this is a spring driven, this is rubber band driven, or this whatever it may be, can literally change how that machine is running.
And some of those cartridge companies, they're different from every one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Again, the quality control on those is like they're fucking.
Yeah,
they're knocking those
one
the
month
fuck
you're
out.
getting something, and the next month you might get something else. You know what I mean? So what are you using for like on a daily? What are you using for your machines?
My coils.
Strictly coils.
Yeah.
So how often are you using the hybrids that you're making?
When I do something that requires a bigger line, I have 2 of them set up for. I use a 7 straight from Wise Guys Supply, and it's just with that hybrid, it's a Sharpie.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like I told him, I was like, when you sent me one, I was like, it's like I was like, I want to see how this runs.
So it's
and I put a loose 14 in there, and it just fucking
Sharpie.
It was like using a Magnum 44. I was like,
I said, I think that's why you're seeing more of the trad guys and more of the fucking neo trad guys using the Kubins and these hybrids because of the fact that they just find it easier to use. For me personally, like I said, I think it's always been a bit more of a difficult curve. I just don't
trying to tune your hand to one of those is tricky.
Yeah, exactly. And at that point, if I've got
and the voltage because
if I've got
speed spring, it makes from 3.5 to 4.5. You have 10 different machines.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If I have a drawer full of coils and I know which one is going to work the way I need it, I'm just going to grab that one.
That's right.
And the same thing with like the nanos or the transverse. It's like I know what those are capable of doing, so I can set up 2 machines that work almost identical the same, and I can put a tight 3 in one, I can put a 7 in the other, and they're gonna run perfectly. Yep. So I mean, I think that's really interesting, man. And it's gonna, like I said, the reason why I was hesitant to bring it up is because we do come from a time where A lot of people, like I know Cuban was ripping on a lot of people. I don't know him personally, so
I've talked to him a few times, but I don't know him well enough to know. And I don't care what anybody does. It's, if your work is good, your work is good, and that's really
that's where the proof is in the pudding.
That's where the proof is it. And that some people try to really outsmart tattooing by your tools are good carpenter could make a house with a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
The right tools just make it faster.
Yeah, most certainly. That's been the big thing with all like rotaries and stuff.
So, but there are some builders, some pen builders, some not so pen builders that they are trying to outsmart tattooing, and they're trying to get the tools to build the house for them. Trying to lay those lines in purely mechanically, no skill to it, right? And I see that a lot around me where people take Cubans and coils just running retarded and just they come in
butchering,
and they do them old blowouts where it's white in the middle and hazed on the side.
It's like a trench dug
straight up. So it drives me, it makes me sick, honestly, because it just does. But so
one thing as a machine builder too is like you're also looking at it with a different set of eyes. It's like you can look at it like a big grand fucking statue building and everything like that. And you're like, I can appreciate that. When a guy who builds that shit comes up and he's like looking at like how the foundation was laid, the type of material that it looked like, you nitpick it and break it down to me like, well, look, this thing could have been so much more efficiently. Like you're looking at the technical aspect of it. But to me, I think that's where a lot of times where we also develop the hoedown and everything like that. And I mean, again, if
I want to come,
dude,
we're doing one in North Carolina.
We're doing one in North Carolina in March. In March.
I heard that.
If you guys want to
last
open up.
Saturday, Sunday, and Monday of March.
Yeah.
It's
so
literally the last Sunday.
It is like we just feel like it's very important to kind of share that kind of knowledge with anybody who wants it.
Yes, I agree.
And so it's just allowing you to understand the tools that you're holding and also understand like what machine would be better for you.
Correct.
Just so it helps you operate and understand of like where the industry, and I'm going to say that is what it is.
It is now,
The industry on what direction is going. So whatever changes need to be done, you can understand what is actually properly right for yourself and how to operate more efficiently, or just to know what things are being made of, to ask the right questions instead of just being told this is good because I said so.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
And the best way I ever heard the pens described, and the cartridge in particular, I don't care for the cartridges at all because of too many moving parts. I gave the Axis Valhalla. That was the best one I ever used. That was years ago now. I tried it when I sat still at my shop. I said, everybody loves them. Let me give it a try, right? I've got to give it a try. It's the new thing, right? Yeah. So I had the machine.
Like it when I used it.
So
it didn't operate good for the way, again, like you said,
everybody's hand.
I was like, no, I cannot make this. I cannot change the way I tattoo efficiently for how this tool works.
That Gen 1 Valhalla went to 15 volts, so I was able to move quick enough. It was able to keep up with me enough, but I had to slow way down, right?
Yeah, right.
So I have a couple clients. I did full black and gray sleeves, 2 full sleeves, 2 full color sleeves, 100 pieces in between. Besides the issues that kept having with, the contamination aspect of that's a whole separate discussion.
Oh, that's going to be something that's going to come up eventually.
Yeah.
Not with AIR, not here. But.
Yeah, no, that's going to be a big something that's going to come up a lot. So I guarantee you, one of the best machine builders I know, he had a great idea. He said he'd go around a convention with luminol and, so.
Not giving anybody ideas.
Yeah. No ideas.
And if you don't know what that is, try it. You'll find out.
LUMINOL.
It'll change the way you think about daily work.
Yeah. So, but he also said, and this is the most poignant way I've ever heard the pen and the cartridge described. He said, "Convenience is the lube for the dildo of dysfunction to slip up the ass of a craft."
So you talk to Eric, is what you're saying?
No, I think I know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So,
oh God,
it's that machine come out. The Chinese.
I feel like if we had those little things, this is where like the little porn girl would walk across the fucking bottom of the screen. Yeah.
But it's true though, that thing came out and it gave the ability for so many people to circumvent the fundamentals. Yeah. You can just set it, forget it, plug and play, and
Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, you could look at it as almost being like a downfall, or the beginning of a new age.
that's
Change is coming, whether you like it or not.
whether you like it or not. I still think fundamentals, though. I think that's why.
Well, I think that's what we're really trying to do a lot of this stuff. And I think what's different that Joe's podcast is really separate from a lot of other things. Is like, again, we do bitch a lot. We do complain. I think that's just us being bitter. But the idea of it is still to try to reiterate, like, the history and past of where we had started from is really important to, like, you don't have to change what you're doing, but at least carry that knowledge with you so to help you elevate and grow even more. You know, it's like we understand, like, change is always going to happen. There's going to be an evolution. That's just life.
It's inevitable.
But if you can understand where your past came from, it's going to help you have a more solid future.
Sure. I established my ideas for what would be a successful shop many years ago. Jimbo used it. A couple other people used it. Worked really good. Finally, I said, I'm planting my flag. Back to Scotty, he told me, if you're really good, you got to sit still by 35, because then you'll be all right when you're 55. He said, if you wait till you're 40. Yeah. So, and I listened to that. I planted my flag while everybody else during Corona was all appointment only, applications. I only do 3 hours at a go. All that nonsense that went on for years.
You changed the way we do business.
It changed the clientele, because every single person was out there saying, oh, I had to do this, I had to do that. I jumped through this hoop and that hoop, but he only does it 3 hours at a time. He doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. And that just, the people who still come in and they're shocked that you do a walk-in. But I sat there, I made my appointments, I did every walk-in I could. I started putting my all my stencils together, save as many as I can. Man, it's a lot, but that's why I'm still busy. I didn't tell anybody no. I stayed, I did it. I sat there, I made the name, and now that's keeping.
Well, I think that's what it comes down to, is that, you made yourself accessible.
Yes.
When you make yourself unaccessible, that's exactly what you become.
Yep.
You become obsolete. Like, everyone's trained in their head to think like, well, you're always booked. Yep. You're not going to fucking be available. So why should I keep trying?
Correct.
It's to where you advertise like, look, hey, I can be busy, but I still take everything that comes in. And that's the mindset you train your clientele and the people within your area to understand of, like, no, we're not turning anything away. It's just we might be busy at this moment.
Yeah.
Like, come on in. Whereas opposed to like, my books are closed. They don't open up again until like this year. And you're like, and so people are like,
come on,
well, there's no reason for me to remember you.
We call ours a hometown shop, because again, we're in this little tiny corner right by the woods. We're kind of a destination, because you come down and you're
not driving by you're not driving by your shop to get to 3 others.
Correct.
Yeah.
You got to come to us. So it's great. We have people pop in every day just to bullshit, and
that's killer.
It's like Mike Perfetto, he always was like that. He's always hometown guy, you're a neighborhood guy. You can go there and say hi and talk and BS and have a good day. And even if you're not feeling good, come on and say hi. And it makes you feel better. You leave, and that snowballs.
That's what you're trying to carry on. Yeah. That's cool.
And when you're genuine about it, if if you're just doing it for fakes, people know.
Well, yeah,
eventually.
If the clientele that you want in your shop, those are the people that are going to figure it out that you're just full of shit.
Yes.
So
I'm grateful every day for what this has given me. Nice. And it's,
that's killer. All right. Is there anything else you want to touch on? Are we good?
No.
We ran out of fucking battery.
I'll take that as a good thing.
Yeah. Well, man, I really do appreciate it. This was a great way to get back into the podcast again. You know what I mean? Like,
I think we touched on a bunch of nerves. I mean, we river danced on some people's feelings probably, but I think we had a lot of really great information that people that actually care, that do watch this stuff, instead of just watching Joe almost have a heart attack every time, that directly, I think it'd be good.
If anybody, remember, there was a comment section. Feel free, good or bad, fucking put it down there. I do read everything. I'm going to have all of the information from Jay and fucking Jimmy in the description below, how you guys can be reached and everything. And in the meantime, again, thank you very much for tuning in. Like and subscribe. Join the fucking channel. Spread the fucking word. Thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
I got that fucking half-ass things,
I'll see you when I see you.
All right. Take care, guys. Dude, man, really, thank you, man.
No problem.
Yeah.